Says we're live, and now the ticketer is counting. Welcome to a girl, a guy, and a movie. Our episode tonight, you're, wow, Bruce, you're still unprepared. Um, this is our episode tonight.
Damn it.
Wow. This is, nope, not that. Tonight we're going to be reviewing a movie from 1995 called Major Payne. And this is episode 32 of A Girl, a Guy, and a Movie. And Janet, this was your selection.
Yes.
What did you think about this film?
I loved it. I loved it, and I thought it was great. It made me think of my mom the whole time I was watching it.
This movie has a pretty special place in your heart, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Very big place in my heart because my mom loved this movie. I went and saw it with my mom 3 times, and at a dollar theater. So it has and I laughed the whole time because it was really funny, but it has good memories. So I like it a little more because of the memories that comes along with it.
This movie came out in 95. I was over in England when it debuted here. And when I got back, my aunt told me I had to see it, and I just kind of ignored it till last week when you were like, you need to see the film. We're going to talk about it. So I looked at the cast, and I'm like, okay, it's got Damon Wayans. I love Damon Wayans. He's good. He does that My Wife and Kids TV show, which is funny. That's a funny show. That's actual good situational comedy based on family issues. And it's got Michael Ironside. Oh my God, Michael Ironside. Guy was Top Gun. He's been in he's been Sam in the Tom Clancy Splinter Cell games, and he was the bad guy in Heavy Metal Part 2. Fact you. It's Michael fucking Ironside. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a good movie. Bam Bam Bigelow, third right. He's the third listed individual in this movie. Third.
Mm-hmm.
Bigelow has like 4 minutes in this film. 4. He has 4 minutes in this movie.
Yeah, and he wasn't a very nice guy.
No, he was kind of a dick. Just a wee
Well,
bit.
he was a dick.
And then you got Joe Blair, who's Cadet Ryan, and a then unknown Orlando Bloom. I'm like, wow, this movie's got star power in it.
What part did Orlando Bloom play in it?
He was Tiger. He was Cadet Tiger in front of you the whole time. You didn't recognize him?
No, I thought Orlando Bloom was the actor that was in the Pirates of the Caribbean.
And he played Legolas in Lord of the Rings.
And he played, I don't know what character you're talking about. Can you show me his picture?
I'm going for it right now.
I thought Tiger was the little boy,
Uh,
the little 6-year-old,
let me find it.
and he's the wrong race.
No, I thought Tiger was the young man.
Because remember when Damon Wayans is looking across from the bus station and he sees the mom and dad and the little kid playing in the yard, and he pictures himself with the one young woman and little Tiger running around with a name badge on his little Cub Scout outfit. It says Tiger on it.
Yeah.
That is not Orlando Bloom.
No, you're right. That's not Orlando Bloom. No, I thought this guy was like the main character for all the kids.
Um, I don't
Well,
remember him
well,
being. I forgot. I always forget to print out the list of all the people, but I can look it up real quick on my phone.
if I didn't mind getting a copyright strike, I'd just run the movie here. I ran this. I showed this off in your Discord last night to a couple people because you can display it to people that is legally less than like 5 individuals. That's the
Mm-hmm.
reality. They don't want you broadcasting over 5.
Yeah.
But
Well, I've been in a few things on Discord watching things, and I've had 20 or 30 people in there
yeah,
watching. So we didn't charge any money. It was free. I mean, we were just viewing something, a TV show or whatever.
all right. Let me show you who I believe Orlando Bloom plays, and I may be
Yeah,
wrong.
well, I'm looking for him. I'm looking for his character in this
Do you see?
list.
All right, this kid right here.
That's not Orlando Bloom.
I thought that was Orlando Bloom.
No.
Who
He's
is that
Lee.
Orlando
He's the
Bloom guy?
son of the Ironside guy. His name is hold on. I'm trying
This
to
is the
remember his
problem when I
name.
don't care about a movie. I wish I did. I started watching this film and I was glad I had miniatures to paint.
I
I was
cannot find him on here now. The top billed cast.
Yeah,
Let's see.
you got Bam Bam right there.
Yeah, his name was because I don't think he was in anything else after this, or he was only in a couple things, and then he basically stopped acting. Um, yeah, the biker was Bam Bam Bigelow.
Here's more kids. And
Yeah,
I thought I could have swore that was Orlando Bloom. Yeah, that is Michael Ironside's kid, little dickhead.
yeah, his character. So hold on, let me find out what his name is. There's no pictures on here. My internet is terrible right now. I don't have.
Don't worry, I
I'm
don't have
lagging.
online either.
I'm lagging really bad, and I cannot. I just cannot. I can't even be on camera. I mean, I can't even get. I might have to restart my computer. I don't know what's going on.
It's we'll deal with your lag. Okay,
Okay, I'm sorry.
you're good.
But I can't. I can't. I have. We got to remember where I'm at right now in the middle of nowhere. I have to have a booster just to have a cell phone, which sucks.
Yeah,
This is what sucks about living in a nice city where you can have anything you want. I can't even order food to be delivered to my house now. So it's just
is
it's
that
just
because the drivers are too lazy, or is that because there's
because
just
they
no?
don't deliver this far out of town.
Okay, I'm not going to dox you, but like, is it like a 40-minute trip out of the suburbs for you?
I have to drive 45 miles just to buy alcohol
Wow.
now. I'm in a dry county.
What the hell are you doing?
I know. I'm an idiot.
Arlen Avalon would be like, "What are you doing, sister?
I
You
know.
got
She would never want to. She would never come visit me because I suck now.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
you
be
know
the
Arlen,
old
right?
I'm gonna be the old chicken lady or whatever. That's what people are gonna call me because my internet's terrible. I don't have cell service. Oh, ruining my life. That's what's happening.
Well, the thing is, you
No.
got like you got chickens. You're out in the country. You got what you want. The worst part about it is you don't have the interwebs or the the things that you quote unquote you think you need, which you really
Well,
don't.
I do need if I'm gonna be doing this, I need the internet.
What type of service do you have out there?
I couldn't hear what you said.
What type of internet service do you have out there? You got cable?
Um, yeah, I have cable, but I'm not really using it. I just got the high speed internet so that I can watch it on my Apple TV and watch whatever I want, whatever I want to subscribe to because I don't normally watch TV. I hardly watch any television. But but I need the internet. And the only thing is the cell service is bad. I have to have a little booster tower, whatever those things are called. It's plugged in just so I can have, 3 bars on my cell phone. So it's like people gripe, you never call me back or whatever. I'm like, I can't help it. As soon as I go to town, it'll load up and I'll get 25 messages. But, it stinks. Sorry. And it's not normally this bad, but I guess because of the storm, the ice storm or whatever you want to call it, sleet and stuff that I'm getting right now, it just makes it's really bad. I mean, I can't get any pictures or nothing on my IMDb right now just to look up these characters.
Oh.
Orlando Brown is the little boy that played Tiger.
I thought it was Orlando Bloom.
Cadet Kevin Tiger. That was the little boy. The little youngest one, the 6-year-old.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find, I'm going to have to just get on the regular thing because IMDb is not working for some reason for me. I can't look it up.
It's not Orlando Bloom. Wow, Bruce, you boomered. I boomered. My bad.
But yeah, I sent some stuff to the printer, but it's mostly stuff I had tried to print out some stuff because I thought the part where the boys their heads are shaved, and he makes them wear a dress after that one scene. I wrote down on my phone, and I thought I printed it out, but I don't have it. I don't know what happened to it. Of the boys singing.
I should love this movie.
But I absolutely love this movie. The beginning, though, opens up and you see Damon Wayans talking to one of his higher ups. Okay. And his higher up is trying to get him to retire, to go out of the military because he's already fought in all these different wars and everything. And he's a really good combat Marine. And so he's basically telling him he needs to retire because the days of his type of soldier are no longer necessary or something. So you see Damon Wayans' character go out and he does a couple of different civilian jobs, and he can't handle it. I mean, he's too aggressive or whatever. Like in this one, the second one, where he's at the police station and he's interviewing for, I guess, security job or a cop job or whatever, but they ask him to go into a fake demonstration showing him how he would handle a domestic violence call, right? And then a woman and a man in a room, and the woman starts yelling at the man, "Oh, he hit me, he slapped me," or whatever. And then Damon Wayans beats the shit out of the actor because he says, "You like to whip hit on women, boy," or something like that. And then he beats the crap out of him and he goes to jail. And then his higher up in the military has to come and bail him out. And it's like, what happened? It's only been 2 weeks. So the whole thing leading up to his character, which the whole movie basically is like a spoof of the old, all the Army movies that we grew up watching, like I can't remember some names of them, but you see Officer and a Gentleman. I'm trying to think of some other movies that I remember watching when I was young.
Gentleman, you've got
with the drill sergeants in them, and then you got that one guy who always played a Marine or something. I can't remember his name, but he died last year, I think. That whatever his name is. Yeah. And but we grow up watching all these movies and you see the drill sergeants are like, "Get down on the ground, you maggot," all that kind of stuff. So basically this movie was written, it almost to me seems like whoever wrote it just for this actor to me. I mean, he's just so funny.
It's a loose remake of a movie from like 1955 called The Private War of Major Benson.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't know that, but oh my God, it was like tailor made for Damon Wayans. I think I just loved him, and what's he's so adorable to me at this character. I mean, he's a lethal weapon for the government, basically, but you can tell he has no skills when it comes to women or the
No.
opposite sex,
No.
basically. So if a man came in front of him, he would take him down like that, within seconds. Like the one scene where he's trying to help the guy out on the battlefield before he went to see his before he was trying they tried to get him out of the military. And it's like the guy's been shot, okay, and he's laying there on the ground, and he's he's trying to talk to him. He doesn't know how to talk to anyone with like compassion or anything. He's just everything he sees is blood and gore and death. It's like I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh. But God, this movie was so funny to me. I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. I guess I'm just a corny nerd or something, but I just loved it. I just loved this character because he was so realistic to me in a comedy to play this soldier that's a grunt. Basically, he lives to kill or to fight. Fight other people that are the bad guy, to take the bad guys out. So
Mhm.
he's like a real life hero. He doesn't wear a cape, but he's a real life hero because all he wants to do is save people, save us from the bad guys. And he calls everyone, this movie could not be made today because he calls everyone Charlie. Sorry. I don't
I
know.
love it. I
I
love
don't,
that part. That was great.
it's just funny because only people that would understand, I think, are military people or military family people. Because I remember sitting around and having my grandpa talking about different, things he was involved in the army, and then my dad talking about um, him being in, guess, I guess it was Vietnam. Oh, I'm so bad at not knowing that. I should know that, but because he was a combat medic when he first went in, a corpsman, or what, I don't know what you call it. Is it a corpsman
Corman.
in the Air Force?
So I don't know if that's what they call it in the Air Force, but a medical enlisted person would be considered a
Because I
corpsman.
remember him telling me how he was in this helicopter and they had the gurney or the thing, with the four handles. It's like wood,
Hmm.
okay, and it's got it's a special thing that you put people on, like they do on the football field. It's like kind of like that, whatever that is called, a
Yes.
cot. I don't know what you'd call it, but so he said he had that strapped next to him, and then it was him and the other guy that was supposed to help get out and run down and pick up this gentleman or this soldier that had been shot down in a helicopter. I mean, in a aircraft or a plane, and that him and there was a gunner and then the pilot and then another soldier and then the other guy helping him, a stretcher. That's it. So he said they landed, and then he had the one guy with the machine gun and he was shooting. Okay, my dad said he jumped out and his partner jumped out and they took the stretcher out. They picked the guy up and they said his leg. So his leg was laying by him. So he was trying to tell me about it. And then he put them on there and they were running back and they got back in the helicopter. He jumped up there and he could feel the air pass by his head. He said, from multiple bullets. Okay, is what he said. But then when they got up off the ground and they were flying off, he realized the soldier that was sitting at the other side, the other open door, was dead, and that the bullets went over my dad's head and killed the soldier on the other side of him, on the other side of the helicopter, and that bothered him. It bothered him that why he was. I'm gonna get emotional thinking about it, but how upset he was that one guy died and he lived. So was tough.
It-
But
There's it's okay to be emotional. We just had a Vets Day,
that's
so
why my dad doesn't talk about it. He didn't talk about it very often. He was very quiet about some of the things that he went through. And that's why I get so upset when people say such bad things about our soldiers, because they were just doing what they thought was right at the time.
mhm.
And I'm proud of them. But let me get past that. But the whole thing was me being able to see Damon Wayans' character as a tough soldier, and that he was born and bred to be a soldier, and he lived his whole career. And I guess it was like his 20 years in or something like that. And now he's been forced to retire because they don't need the type of man that the soldier he was in the service. So they're trying to get him and transition him out of the military into civilian life. Okay.
Mhm.
And in that aspect, the way he deals with civilian life is what makes the movie so funny. So when he says it's him over talking, doing the voiceover at the very beginning, as you see the Jeep and everything going up, and he goes to this building, you see him pull in, so you don't really know for sure that it's a school, but he ends up going to a prep academy, and he ends up becoming the ROTC troop leader. I guess that's what the name they call the people that run it. And it's a really nice school because once they start showing you more details of what he's got, I mean, it's a really nice brick house that he gets to live in with Tiger and the other teacher, the beautiful female teacher. I guess she's their social teacher, or what, I don't know what you call it, a counselor, I guess.
More
And,
counselor maybe,
and
consultant,
then
sure,
do what?
consultant or counselor, but
Yeah.
yeah, career guide.
Yeah. So she's living in this house apparently too. And then little Tiger lives there. He's 6. Okay. So I don't know if he's just there because his parents don't really want to spend time with him or something, because isn't a prep academy where rich people send their kids?
It felt like an academy. It almost felt like we needed Mrs. Garrett walking around on the grounds there, chasing down Joe.
Oh yeah, now that I remember that show on TV.
Facts of life.
But the thing is, when they started going around and they found the little barracks, and they cleaned it up. Okay,
Mhm.
when he was taking them there to do that, so they had that whole nice thing, and they also had the whole field for them to work out, to climb a fence, to climb, just different obstacle course type thing. Really nice though.
Yes.
I mean, the schools I went to, I don't remember having anything that nice. But
No.
so this was a pretty nice school, and then you had the wacky, I guess, teacher or the guy that runs the academy. Some dumb person that got the part because or got the place, the position simply because of his family or something. The dumb guy that was catching bugs,
Yes.
that guy. My paperwork didn't print out, so I just had this one sheet of paper and it just has a couple little things on it. The other ones didn't print, so I didn't know what happened to it.
The man examining the butterfly at the start of the introduction to
I got to turn this up. I can hardly hear you.
that was Mr. William Hickey playing Dr. Phillips.
Okay, but Dr. Phillips, what do you call that person? The dean?
Yes, he seemed like a dean,
Okay.
like the
Okay.
dean of sciences more than anything else.
Okay, well, he's a real whack job or whatever.
Felt like it.
But when Damon Wayans' character, Major Payne, shows up, he's doing a voiceover. So when he pulls up and he's talking about this being the hardest, terrifying job he'd ever done, after he's talking about all the horrible things he went through in war, right? So I just thought that was really, really hilarious to me. and then you see all the kids running around the school and everything. So it was like, being a parent really is a tough job, basically. And that's what he's kind of like what he's doing. He's stepping in and as a father figure to all these boys.
Yeah.
And
J-Rock.
it's definitely not a woke movie. This movie is not woke at all. I mean,
Well,
there's
it
too
was
much in
written
it.
by Nick Castle. And Nick Castle, I'm going to just interject real quick. I want to give you guys an idea of the movies he's written. He did Escape from New York, 1981. The Assassination Game, 1982. Escape from LA, 1996. Lockout, 2012. He directed Connor's War, Major Payne, The Last Starfighter, and Tag the Assassination Game. Nick Castle is almost in that same tier of God directors as Luc Besson for me. And I like Nick Castle quite a bit because when you give him an empty set of paper, he fills it up with gold. If you've never seen the movie Lockout with Maggie Grace and now my brain goes dead, Maggie Grace is in Lockout. That movie has the most one-liners per minute that any other film does. It's not great on action. It's not great on a lot of things, but that movie has a lot of it's an homage to 1980s action films. It's wonderful. So Nick Castle wrote all these wonderful things, and we got a gentleman in chat by the name of Wolf Tin Media.
Mm-hmm.
He says something that I heard back when I was in the Navy in '93 before this movie come out. I figured if Marines wanted me to have a wife, they would have issued me one.
Mm-hmm.
Our bosun's mate, company commander, drill instructor, he said, for all you unmarried sperm out there, go out and get married. This is not the time for you to get married because that's the time when your wife will take you to the cleaners when you're not able to do anything, but you're just sitting on a boat floating in the middle of the Atlantic. Don't do it. If you're supposed to have a wife, U.S. Navy, make sure you get one. And that's what he said because he had like 12 wives. He couldn't pass up a strip joint. That poor son of a bitch. All right.
Well,
sorry about that, Travis. Didn't mean I was blowing a goat in a tunnel. Okay, I'm actually sucking down on some breakfast blend coffee beans right now because I didn't sleep well last night. So I thought,
you're eating the beans, or you drinking coffee?
I'm eating the beans. I put them between my lip and my cheek, and it's like some guys they do with tobacco. Bruce does with coffee beans.
I'll give you a good jolt.
These here are pretty, not mild, they're medium on the caffeine, but they're so tasty. So I don't.
Well, I love the smell of it. I love the smell of coffee. And I use ground coffee in my car. I put it in like a old pair of pantyhose and tie it up and put it under your seat. It helps absorb odors and makes it smell better in your vehicle. Yeah, it works really good.
Okay.
But let's see, where was I? So he shows up at the school, and then he gets to meet the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew the name of all the actors. Are you allowed to put that on the screen?
I'm gonna go to our IMDb real quick.
Okay, because
share this because I think it'd be easier for me to just share this.
Yeah, because right off the bat, the one young boy is all excited and loves. You could tell he dreams of being an officer in the military.
Oh yeah,
and he's already understands the whole thing about saluting, the different commands, and all those things. The other kids, you'd see that they're in it, but they're not in it because they want to. They don't seem like they're interested in really being it, except for little Tiger. The Tiger, he likes it and he wants to do it because he thinks it's exciting. but all the other kids are like misfits. It's like a bunch of parents send their kid there to go to this training just to get them out of the house. That's what the feeling I got from the way that the boys were
That's exactly
treated.
the feeling
There
I
you go.
got with this movie. They put their kids at this camp because they just didn't want to have to deal with them. It's summertime, go outside, don't touch your Nintendo.
Yeah, and there's just adorable. God, I just want to give all of them big old hugs. They're just so cute. And I know they're all grown-ups now and everything, or old or whatever. I don't know how old they are, but I just thought it was great. Um, and like that scene where the scene where he's got a whistle and she keeps trying to take the whistle from him,
Yes.
and he's like, "Don't touch the whistle. Don't touch the whistle," like that. And then later in this scene right here, he's trying to let her blow the whistle for him because he's kind of sweet on her. But every time she would speak to him, you could see the look on his face would become a blank stare, almost like he was.
He was thinking of something else.
Yeah, he was just like in La La Land. Like you could tell he was almost like Gomer Pyle. That I remember my mom used to watch a show with Gomer Pyle in it, and and he was goofy and weird. I don't really remember the show very much because I never did watch it, but I remember my mom liked it. And the his goofiness was kind of like Gomer Pyle, like ye golly or whatever. I can't even remember what he said, but that's the look on his face was just he was just good at it. I mean, he was a very good actor in this movie because he was very believable as his what?
He made the script completely his.
Yes, he made the character his for sure. And yeah, that scene right there where the little boy was so happy because he went and shot his closet full of holes to kill the monster that's hiding in his closet. And the little boy was so thankful and hugged his neck. And then you could see Damon Wayans and he pats him on the back, and then he pulls the kid off of him and tells him to go to bed. And the woman, she says, well, he was just trying to thank you for you helping him or whatever. And, that's not bad or whatever. And you should, be nicer about it. And he said, well, I don't like the way it makes me feel. And she said, well, it's because you're something about him being a nice guy, or he's just showing you affection or something. And then he just goes, I don't like the way it makes me feel all icky or whatever, whatever it was, the word, I can't remember the word, but it was so funny. The look on his face, and it just seemed believable to me, even though it was over the top. And then that scene right there where he's reading that book and he's scratching his head with his I don't know what you call that knife.
That's a Gurkha knife.
Well, whatever. It's very deadly. It looks
Yeah.
like his field knife. That's what he called it, because when he had Tiger go get it so he could shave their heads. Remember, he supposedly shaved their heads with that knife because it was so sharp. And but the thing is that that scene right there is the one where he's reading it and she comes in the room, and he's pointing and stuff with that knife, and she's freaked out over it because it's so big. Yeah, you could gut a deer with that and skin it and everything. So, but once he meets the boys, and the one kid, the lead, I can't remember what his name is, the actor's name that you thought was Orlando Bloom, which was
Orlando Bloom. My bad.
Yeah, but I don't know what's the actor's name, the real actor's name for that part.
You're asking the wrong person on this.
Okay, because I can't look it up. My internet's not working
I think it was
well.
Chris Owen.
Let
me see. Yeah, that looks like him.
No, that's not him. That's the kid with the big ears. Okay. That's the redheaded kid that he called the cartoon, or.
That's right.
Okay. Sorry.
This is the bonus. If you watch anything on Amazon, you can pause it at any time and you can look at the screen and it'll tell you who's on the screen right now.
Yeah, see that kid right there with the big ears? He's
Yeah,
screaming. That's that redheaded guy. That's not the same guy. The
this is that
cadet,
$5.
the lead cadet, or he wasn't the lead cadet. He was made the lead cadet later.
I love
He
this scene right here.
yeah, that's the one I was telling you where he's dreaming that he could have a family of his
Mhm.
own.
Then
And that's
Charlie
why
comes down.
he decided to go back and watch the boys when they play in the games to try to win the trophy themselves. But the one boy that falls down the hill because he realized he wasn't down there when he was supposed to be, and he ends up being Ironside's son.
Yep.
Okay. And the scene where on Parents' Day, when he is talking to his dad or his stepdad, and he's like, "Why'd you come?" He goes, "Well, you're mine now," or whatever type thing. And he slaps him. He slaps his son because he didn't like the way his son was talking to him. Because he goes, "Well, you're drunk. You just need to go home." Whatever. And he goes, "You can't talk to me like that." And he went to slap him again. And that's when Major Payne grabs his wrist and says for him not to strike him, and if that if he'd be sorry or whatever, that he was going to take him out. And that's when he pushes the kid behind him, like to protect him. See, so he ends up hitting that guy a couple times, and the dad ends up leaving, and that was his small part that he had in the
Yep.
movie.
I think he had to do a movie appearance, and he didn't have to do a big part, but Michael Ironside ended up damn near. He paid a mortgage payment with this. I can guarantee it.
Oh, I'm sure he made good money, but he did a good job of being a believable butthead. I mean, that's what he was supposed to do. So, but it made the kid that he protected see him differently. You know what I mean? He looked at him a little different than he did before after that scene, because a lot has happened between the two of them. Like when he took all the kids to the barracks. It was all, decapitated or dilapidated and everything.
Yes.
So he took them over there and he told them, "Okay, you guys," because he's trying to make a team out of them. Okay, and that's the
Yeah,
whole thing. And all the movies that you watch in the past that were about boot camps and about like drill sergeants and all that stuff. It's all about the drill sergeant being tough on them to make them want to get rid of them. No one likes the drill sergeant, but the reason they don't like him, he's that way to get them to rely on each other, to watch each other's back. Okay, basically. So, and that's what his whole job was, is to make them into a team. And that's what he was doing by making them think of ways to get rid of him. And that's what was so funny, is the things that the boys did to try to get rid of Damon Wayans' character. Like they hired that big muscle bound beefy biker to come and kick his ass. But he ends up getting his ass kicked. And then after that, they decide they're going to, or before they did that, they were going to frame him and make him look like he was some kind of perv. And they got the chubby kid. That every time I saw the chubby kid, all I could think of was Goonies. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's his
What about
character.
Chunk?
One of the kids, yeah, like Chunk. He reminded me of Chunk. But what was funny is that they put some different dresses on him, and then they're teasing each other, the boys, which is, I loved the camaraderie between the boys, because you wanted, you just wanted them to be happy or whatever. You wanted to see them successful. But when the one boy's like going, "Why do I have to be the girl? Why do I have to wear the dress?" And they say, and the one guy that I cannot remember what his name is, the actor grabs his chest and says, "Because you got the biggest boobies." So just little stuff like that just made me feel like this is something that real boys would probably do, before the wokeness took over the world. But then when they show up at Damon Wayans' house, the brick house, they're going, "You sure he's asleep?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, he's with his eyes open or whatever. But the fat chubby kid comes walking in and he's wearing a totally different dress. And the one other kid goes, "Why are you wearing that dress?" He goes, "Because I thought it was prettier." So, just little stuff like that just had me rolling because it was so many wonderful little details in the camaraderie between the boys talking that you could go back and listen to it 4 or 5 times and catch things that you didn't, because I've seen this movie like 12 times and I still laughed my butt off. I mean, I was rolling laughing at just the little banter between everyone. And but the scene where after the dress incident, okay, or when the boys went upstairs and he's asleep, they think, and they got a camera set up at the foot of the bed, and you got all the kids all standing around, uh, with a camera, and then you see the chubby kid climb up there and lay down beside Damon Wayans, and he's like, and the leader, the bad guy leader, I can't remember what his name is. I wish we could look it up, but my internet is terrible. I just can't look it up, and because it'd probably disconnect me if I try to do it. The lag is so bad. But he climbs up there and the other guys tell him, scoot over more, put your head on his shoulder or whatever. So the chubby kid's laying there, and then all of a sudden you see Damon Wayans' arm come up and grab the kid and give him a big old hug. And then he looks down at him and they all start screaming and running out. It was just a phenomenal scene. And then after that, it was the next morning when Damon Wayans, and they're all bald because he made them shave their heads. He shaved their heads because that one guy was being an ass. So what he made the whole squad get their head shaved because of the actions of one kid. The whole thing is to try to build a team out of them. So you can't help but look at it as how effective he was being at making the boys work together to try to get rid of him. So the next day, after a whole thing of them trying to take dirty pictures of him with a little boy, which was so not kosher today in today's world, when they tried to do that, then he makes them all wear dresses and he's making them parade around the courtyard in the school on the school grounds. And oh yeah, Alex Stone, I think that's what his name was, that somebody said in the chat. But
Yes.
and they're all, I wish I knew. I tried to print it out, but it didn't work, I guess because of my internet so bad. But the whole thing about what the boys were having to say, what they were singing, how when you march and you do the I
You
can't even,
cadence.
I
You have to
didn't,
march
I'm
in
not,
cadence. You have to
do
call
what?
out. You have to march in cadence, and somebody's going to call cadence.
Yeah, but I was going to read it out because it was so funny, the words they were using. I wish I could do it. It was so funny. It just sucks that my internet is so bad. I'm ruining the show because of it. It's depressing. Sorry.
You're good.
My nose is running now again. Oh, it's
You ain't
terrible.
got no worry, you ain't got no stress.
It's
It's
everything.
like that. You got to worry about the Jodies.
But the whole scene, and then the young woman comes out and she's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing, making them wear dresses or whatever?" But that after that is when they hire, or the one guy wants to go hire the biker to beat him up. And then after that happens, that's when Damon Wayans gets them all together and tells them, okay, you want to see me gone? You can see me gone. Or tells the lead guy, whatever his name is again. Somebody said his name a second ago. Darn it. Hold on, I gotta click on the chat. I can't reply, but I'm gonna try to go up and read the name again. Alex Stone, the actor.
Yes.
Okay. That actor, when he's in his office, because he told him, if you go get me that, it's pouring down rain. If you go get me that trophy at the other academy and bring it to me, then I'll leave. That's basically what he told the kids. So they all decided they were going to go this trophy case at the other academy. And I can't remember the name of the school. I had that written down to print out, and it didn't print. Yeah, Madison's the one they're at, Preparatory Academy, but the other one.
Wellington was the one they were stealing it from.
So
Wellington.
And yeah, Wellington. So they went over there, and while they were trying to do that, Damon Wayans was with Tiger, and Tiger was upset, the little 6-year-old, because the boys wouldn't let him go with them because they said he was too little, and he was upset because he's too little that he doesn't get to do anything. So that's when Damon Wayans went into his room at his bunk bed, and he sat down to tell him a story about the little engine that could. Do you remember that scene?
I do.
And so he's basically telling them the story about the little engine that could, but he's embellishing it with his stories from the jungle during battle. So it was just hilarious the way he was talking about Charlie is coming after him, and then he does a toot like that. The whole it was just funny. And so after that, and he gets to the end, and he's talking about the train, the bridge, that Charlie rigged the bridge to blow up. And he's telling this little kid, and he could tell the little boy's clinging onto his little stuffed animal, and his eyes are huge, and he's really afraid of what he's telling him about the blood and the guts, and that when he got the Charlie climbed up there and got the conductor, gouged his eyes out, and the blood and snot was coming out, and the little boy just scared to death. And I'm laughing at it like disgusting pig that I was, because he feels I should feel bad for the kid, but I didn't. I was too busy laughing at it, even though I shouldn't. But it was so funny. And then he goes on, and right after that, or right before that, the real pretty girl's in the doorway, and she's like impressed that he's sitting there trying to tell a story to this little boy that's upset. Okay. And then he gets to the part where he says, and the little engine that could still goes along, and he goes up to he's coming up to the bridge, and Charlie snuck up there and set explosives. So, he's talking about those whatever type of explosives on the bridge, and he says, and as they're going across, he said that's when the bridge explodes, and then he says, and it starts to collapse, but the little choo-choo is still chugging along. It's going toot, toot, and then it says, but the conductor falls out, and he's laying there on the ground, and he's kicking those back legs, and there's no legs because his legs are gone. He's got two little stumps, and he's moving his fingers around. The whole thing was just so funny. I can't remember exactly the word for word, but it was so funny. And that's when she interrupts and tells him that's enough, that that you're embellished enough or whatever. And then she invites him to dinner. So during this whole time, that's when the other boys are trying to sneak in and steal the trophy from the other school, and they end up getting caught. And the other kids at the other school, and there's like 3 times as many in that school, and they all beating the crap out of all those kids that would try to steal their trophy. So that's all going on, and then they go to this restaurant to eat, and you have Major Payne is wearing his dressed whites. He's dressed out, decked up to the nines or whatever, and they get their food, and you see him eat his food just like in the mess hall. It's like just just
Shoving his food in his plate, just right off his plate in his gullet.
He's doing it in 3 or 4 minutes. He's inhaling his food, and she's just sitting there watching him. It's just funny as heck, especially if you're someone that grew up around military people, because that's really how they eat. I have been to a couple of good military inspections with a few other people that were in the service. And my dad would do that a lot because my dad had he became an instructor, so he had students himself, and just to sit and watch these guys eat is amazing. And they do it because you were in the service, though, right? Did you guys eat your?
We don't have much time. You got to scoop it in your face, and then you got to get going. You got to go do things.
Yeah, you got to go super fast. But that reminds me back this scene where the one kid that used to be the commander, or the I don't know what you call him, the platoon leader.
Yeah, squad leader.
Yeah, the squad leader before Damon Wayans gave it to the other kid, the older kid. He's in science. Okay, so he's in his science lab with the other kids all around him, and he's making up some kind of concoction, and he says that this stuff will make him have diarrhea for a week or whatever. So they make icing out of it, and then they stake out the lunchroom. And one of the kids goes up to Damon Wayans' character and tells him that he has a phone call. So he gets up to leave, and they all run over there, and they get the cupcake he had sitting there, and they put another cupcake there with the supposed icing that's going to make him have diarrhea for a week. And so they all run and hide again, or sit back at the table, and Damon Wayans' character comes back and sits down at the table, and he finishes his food. He picks up his cupcake, and you see him all excited about it. It's really little, it's not very big, and you see him eat it. Yeah, he takes a couple bites, and you see him lick his fingers and everything. He's really enjoying it, immensely. And then all of a sudden you see him stop, and they all stare at him. So, they're watching him. You can hear the gurgling sounds like just give me a second. You can see it almost traveling down his throat into his stomach, in your imagination, and you hear the slushy sounds going on, in his stomach. And you're waiting for him to spew. He's what you think, or he's going to get up and run to the men's room, right? That's what you're thinking is going to happen, but that isn't what happens. You see him make a couple of facial expressions. His eyes get real big, and he's he's reacting to whatever the chemicals. Just a minute. Oh, I wish I could be on camera. I think you guys are going to kick out of it, but I'm so laggy. I'm like 2 minutes behind what I'm saying. So he finishes eating it all, and then you see him straighten up, get real stiff in his seat, and then that other kid with the big ears gets his tray and is walking back because nothing happened, supposedly. And as soon
did you see that movie, American Pie?
I couldn't hear what you said. You're sounding.
You've seen American Pie, haven't you, Janet?
Yes, I've seen it.
That little boy with the big ears. Sherman, the Shermanator.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I recognized him. He's been in lots of movies and stuff. But the kid gets his tray, and he's walking past Damon Wayans sitting there, and then Damon Wayans leans away with his butt facing that kid. And he lets one rip. Really, really big one. And you see the expression on Damon Wayans' face, and then you see the kid hit the deck. Sorry, but I laughed so hard I had to stop the movie a couple times because I couldn't stop laughing because it was so hilarious. I would love to see some outtakes from this movie because there had to be so many people laughing because it was just so funny and it was so slapstick humor. I guess I hadn't seen any slapstick in quite a while, and it was just so good. I mean, it was just so good to see how much fun a movie could be again. I mean, because it was so the mixture of all the boys' personalities, and then seeing them trying so hard just to get rid of someone they thought they hated. It was just the director, everybody that worked on this did a really good job, and also the soundtrack was really, really good too. There's a
Yes.
scene where it's Damon Wayans' nephew, I think,
Mhm.
in the movie, that the dancer one, the one that's really, really good at dancing. And you could tell when he's making fun of him and he smacks him upside the head a few times and stuff, the character in the movie, that he probably really acts like that at home when he's hanging out with all his brothers and his sisters at family get-togethers. I would love to just to get invited to go to their house and get to hang out with these people during Thanksgiving or whatever. I guarantee they have fun. I mean, it just looked like watching in living color and how he reacted with his sister and his brother on that show, and then
Perfect.
seeing him in this movie with his nephew. It just seems like they're a great family. I just think that they are very it just seems like they have fun together, even when they're not in front of the camera or whatever. So
I love the Wayans family.
I
I think it's one of the most talented DNA clusters out there.
they were
I mean,
just very talented. I mean, I saw his sister in a couple episodes on in Living Color, and she was just phenomenal. I just thought she was so funny. I just thought they were great. I just thought the whole show, whoever did in Living Color, was really, really smart. I mean, they did a great job for a comedy show. I thought it was excellent. It was, I mean, I don't know. I just think that they're very talented, but to see these kids working so well together on this movie, I just thought it just was a lot of talent, I thought. And the script was really, really good. It was very funny. It was on point. And the director, the way that he filmed it, um, it just, you could tell he knew what he was doing when it came to comedy. Even though if he made Escape from New York, is that what the one you said he did?
he did both escape movies, New
Okay.
York and
Well,
LA.
those were definitely not comedies. Okay. So to go from that type of a movie to make a comedy where you're pretty much laughing from the beginning all the way to the end, he's a genius when it comes to being a good director. I mean, he's just really good to have an eye for all the different aspects that you need for a comedy. That's why so many directors don't like comedy. It's hard to make a good comedic movie that where it's on point like that. Uh, Even with the slapstick, because slapstick humor can only go so far. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It gets it's like beating a dead horse after a little while. Like three or four different things like that, and you're like, oh, again. You just get, you hear that so much on so many shows where they say, I'm just sick of that or I'm sick of this. But I didn't feel like that at all through the whole movie, even though there was a slapstick here, slapstick there. The way the kids played off each other, the lines that they were each given, the parts they were given, like the part where um, the editing was really good too, because like the part where you hear the boys complaining when he's putting them in that little barracks that they're going to have to clean it up, and that Tiger is going to be sleeping at the other place because he was too small to stay there with the boys. But
Yep.
and they're all whining about it, about having to that this place isn't good enough, blah blah blah. So the next scene you see them, they're all buried up to their neck in the dirt, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
It looks like quicksand.
sister. Yeah, it was like quicksand because he was hosing them down, but he was calling them cabbage kids, cabbage heads, or
Cabbage
something.
patch.
Yeah,
My cabbage patch.
yeah, his cabbage patch or whatever. But it was just so good. It wasn't. I mean, it was on the verge of. I mean, today, if you did any of these things at all that he did to these kids, it would be considered child abuse. But I remember my parents treating me almost identical. I mean, they didn't bury me up to my neck, but the way that he uh, disciplined the kids was, to me, I didn't think it was over the top, apparently, because my mom was one of those moms where she's smoking a cigarette, okay, at the dining room table with one foot up in the chair, okay, with her, and she's
Yes.
got her arm around her leg and she's smoking a cigarette, okay. And then she yells at me because I did something that she didn't like, and I'm across the room. Where she slips off her flip flop and she throws it at me like a boomerang and hits me upside the head with it, okay, to get my attention. So I guess parents just don't do that kind of stuff anymore. I never remember doing it. I didn't smoke in the house when I did smoke, so I guess we just. I don't know. That just died out, or I don't know. I have no idea, but it was I thought it was very heartwarming. It was a very heartwarming thing with the way that he was trying to get these kids to be a team so that they could compete against the other schools to try to win the trophy because they're the best at doing the certain things, shooting the guns, going through the obstacle course, and all the different feats that they had to supposedly do, and do it in a certain amount of time to be able to uh, win that trophy on their own. Because it was just nice to see their journey
Yeah.
becoming just this little group of misfits to being a team, and seeing little Tiger at the end when all the kids had to do their drill where they had to do the marching part, the march in time to the music or whatever.
And then marching cadence, that'd be in step.
And that whole thing was just, oh, I mean, if I'd been one of their parents sitting there watching them do that, I probably would have been bawling my eyes out. But I was clapping, when they were done. And I'd seen this movie, 12 times or whatever. And I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it all the way to the very end because you wanted to root for these kids. You just couldn't help it. I mean, and you wanted to root for Damon Wayans' Major Payne too, simply because he did a good job. Now, you got let down a little bit when his old colonel or whatever came up to him and said, hey, I was able to pull some strings. I got you a really good, I don't know what you call it. It's not a gig. It's called something else when you're in the military. A mission, I guess. It got him a mission so he could become a warrior again, basically. And by that time, though, he's thinking about what he's going to miss out on, because the first time in his life he had something to leave, like the comment you made earlier about going out on a ship and you have nobody left, nobody at home to miss you, right? So all the young guys that are in the subs or on the ships, or get sent to another country or whatever, if they didn't have a wife or a girlfriend waiting for them, the other ones would be talking about who's left behind, who's at home waiting on them to come home, or to get that phone call or to get a letter, and all the other guys want you to read it out loud or let them read it, the ones that don't have anyone. So it kind of was sweet to see that character arc for Damon Wayans' character, because he starts off as just a grunt whose whole life revolves around his next mission, his next trip to the jungle, or whatever you want to call it. But then now looking at the pretty young woman that he's met because of he come to this preparatory school, and then the little boy,
boy influence on.
the little boy that's like there. I don't know if he's an orphan or not, but I don't think he's an orphan. I just think that he's just there full time basically because his parents.
Comes up like an orphan.
Well, the thing is, if he was an orphan, he wouldn't be at that school. He'd be in an orphanage. So he's like an orphan because his parents are sending him to the school full time where he never gets to leave. You know what I mean? He's basically stuck there. Because even on Parents' Day, I don't remember seeing the parents for the little boy. But you could see that Damon Wayans, when he left and he's sitting at the train station, he's sitting there and looking across the way, waiting for the train to come to get him to take him to the base where he's going to fly out to perform his mission. And you thought before he went that, he's, if he was to stay, it would be staying for those boys, right? For the team, but he really wasn't, because he's sitting there and his daydream that he has is him with the woman, with a wife in his front yard barbecuing. And then little Tiger running around in his little Cub Scout uniform with his name, it says Tiger on it. And he's cooking, and his wife's all pretty and dressed up, and she's carrying lemonade, and the little thing on a tray. And then from behind the tree, here comes Charlie. And they have this little Asian guy come out with a knife, and he's running across the yard towards them. And then he takes him out and pushes him into the pool. So I thought you just couldn't do that today. That's so racist is what everybody would say, even though to me, I didn't think it was racist.
What the fuck? It was not racist.
Well, I don't think it was.
Historical enemy.
Yeah, but the thing is, it wouldn't be, they wouldn't make this movie. There's no way they'd ever remake this because there's too many things in it that the woke people would say, oh, you can't do that. That's this, that, and the other. And it just ruined it. But I just thought it was wonderful. I just thought everything about it was funny. It was warm-hearted. It had romance in it without it being nasty, because when they went to dinner after he ate, they danced, and she was laughing at him because he's doing the robot and a couple other goofy moves like the moonwalk, and I don't know. And it came out in the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
This movie.
There was a period of time where there were some movies that came out that did not really portray the military in its hard-ass light that it had been portrayed in the 80s, when we were trying to apologize for Vietnam through movies like Platoon or Full Metal Jacket. And you have the movie where Pauly Shore is in the Army now. You have Danny DeVito in Renaissance Man. And then you have this. And these are like the holy trinity of the military is not that bad.
Yeah.
And they kind of put a human face on the military, because at the time this movie came out, like, we had just had George Sr. say, we're going to be a kinder, gentler nation. And everybody kind of fucked that up, But we have this push in Hollywood where they want to make the military look kind of like a more friendly environment. Nowadays, it's really friendly. You have these films that came out, and they even though they portrayed the Marine properly, because every Marine I know, when they get out of boot camp or they come back from somewhere on a deployment, if they see a deployment 7, which is in reality like a 2, they're like, oh my god, I gotta go. I'm gonna go get her number because I'm gonna see if she's got like a couple minutes. We could boil an egg together. Come on.
Well, just little things about the movie.
It was accurate.
Yeah,
it wasn't great, but it was accurate.
But the parts that I'm talking about are like just little things that the actress was saying to him about being sensitive, um, trying to work with without using, any kind of anger or punishment. Basically is why we are where we are today. I think with a bunch of the wussies that we have, you can't be a man. You can't tell your son to be a man, to be daddy's little man or nothing like that anymore. You got to just tell them, oh, it's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to this. It's okay to that. You know, my dad used to tell me, you don't, only babies cry, even though I was a girl, and I hate it. I feel so, it's taken me a long time to even accept that I am a girl and that I cry, even though I don't want to. I would never wanted people to see me cry or anything, because to me that I was ashamed, to be a wuss. I didn't want to be a wuss. I wanted to be able to defend myself. I wanted to be able to, you know, listen to whatever somebody might say, that horrible things to me or whatever, and not show them that it hurt my feelings. I mean, I was always that way. And, but my dad, I remember once, we were older and we were getting close to graduating from high school, and my dad would tell us, well, as I was talking about maybe joining the military, and my dad said, the military is no place for a woman. That's what my dad told us. And he told all of us girls he didn't want any of us to join the military because women should not be in the military. It's not what you think it is. They don't treat women the way that you think that they treat them, blah, blah, blah. And he was adamant. He did not want any of us to join the service. So I don't know whatever he saw or he thinks he knew, because he never told us any of it. So I don't know what happened, but my dad was adamant about us not. And he was in the Cadillac, of what people call it, the Cadillac of the military, which was the Air Force, supposedly. So I don't know. Yeah. So it's funny because, everywhere we go, we'd have different people in different branches say, yeah, you're not really in the military if you're in the Air Force, blah, blah, blah. But some of the stuff that was said, like when Major Payne was trying to help the little boy because he said there's a monster in his closet. Or at the very beginning, when he's saying he had to pee, okay, when he's first meeting all these kids, right?
Yep.
And the little tiger is way down the end. He's like, sir, I have to go potty. I have to go to the bathroom. And he's like, you need to hold it in, whatever. And he goes, I can't. And he goes, you better hold it in because I'm going to break that thing off and I'm going to kick it all around or something like that. Is what he said to him, which was something that my grandpa would have said to me or whatever. But he ends up wetting his pants. So that's the first time that she comes to talk to him about how he needs to apologize to the little boy because he wouldn't let him go to the bathroom. And it's just the way he deals with the child.
His
And
problem resolution is amazing. And I didn't really see a problem with it, although nowadays people get upset when you just like empty a clip out of or empty a magazine out of a pistol. They get a little upset, because you just blow all through. Like there might be 17 bullets. That generally gets everybody's attention when you do that. And this movie was meant to be a comedy, not to be like instructions for a living.
Yeah, but see at that opening scene, the kids are all being rowdy, so he just pulls out his pistol and starts shooting it up in the air, and you see all the kids' eyes just get huge as saucers because they don't know what's going on. That they've never had anybody react that way. And then later, when they're doing their drill, he's trying to teach them how to do the field, the obstacle course out in the field, right? And they're all like whining that, he's fat, he can't get over that, and then you got that other kid saying, yeah, pork chop, get over the side of the fence, and he tells him to shut up and stop talking or whatever. But so he goes, I'll get him moving, and he pulls the pin out of that grenade, and he's got it in his teeth, and all the kids run, okay, and they're all running to going over the course really, really fast. And that one kid stand there going, "Yeah, that ain't gonna work. I know that isn't real." And he throws it over there behind him by the tree, and the tree falls over because he blew it up. It was real. And I just thought, little stuff like that is what made it, to me, it made it funny. It was entertaining to me because it was like a real hard ass Marine. And he's trying to, it was like daddy daycare or something, where I don't know. It just was funny because it was like a real man getting to be a real dad. I mean, kind of thing. And I guess because I grew up with a military jungle survival instructor as a dad, and my sister and I, Kathy and I, out of the 5 girls, were the only ones that would go camping and doing things like that with my dad, because my other sisters, my 2 younger sisters, was like, we don't want to go, because my dad would make us eat some really weird stuff. But he made us carry our own rucksacks on our shoulders. My dad packed it all up, and they had our bedroll, and they had our food and our clothes, socks and everything in it. And I remember we're hiking up behind him, and I think we were in Spokane, Washington. But we get up there, and I kept telling my dad, I go, my feet hurt and I'm tired. He's like, we only have a little bit farther to go and then we'll make camp. And we keep telling me that. And it seemed like every half hour I wanted to stop because I was tired.
Just got a little bit more. Come on. We can make a camp here in a little bit.
Yeah, so we kept going, and I was like, I finally had just said, I got to sit down. So I found, and Dad said, well, be careful where you sit because there's poison ivy, and he was saying some other poisonous plants. And I was like, okay. So I tried to be real careful, and I found this stump, and it had stuff around it, but it didn't look poison to me. So I sat down. I remember sitting, and instantly my butt was wet because it was a rotted stump. And I broke through the top of the stump, and then I fell back because my rucksack was really heavy. So I'm rolling down the hill backward, until I stopped. I hit another tree or whatever. My dad just laughed at me, but he said, okay, we'll have camp here, since I was soaking wet at this time. So he was nice at, that kind of thing. But so I kind of had a understanding of what these boys were going through with this guy that really isn't really good at hands-on interactive with, as a parent, type thing with kids, because he's so used to working with grown-ups, grown men or whatever. So I don't know. It just really it was very sentimental for me. And plus, going to see this with my mom 3 times in a 5-day span, because my mom laughed so much. And then each day she'd say, I want to go back to the dollar theater again, because we were on a trip and we were staying in a one of those timeshare condos. And so I went with her because I didn't want her to have to go by herself. That's the kind of person I was. But I'm glad I did.
That stomach. We got a guy that's doing an amazing job of putting the entire context of the Blood on the Risers song to be sung to Battle Hymn of the Republic. But if you're squid, you don't sing the song in the company of a bunch of Air Force guys, because they punch you in the stomach or give you the option of getting punched in the face.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never understood all that stuff. So,
but I mean, this you're a woman. That probably wouldn't happen with you. They might slug you in the shoulder. I got a stomach. I got a gut punch.
Well, it's just that it's just sad because it feels like our country is running out of traditions. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I remember growing up and had to set the table at a certain time. The dinner would be ready. And then when we were done, we had to ask permission to leave the table. And then we had to clean up, and we had to do the dishes and all that stuff. So, it was a ritual. And then after we were all finished with dinner and cleaned the table off, we'd all have to sit at the table and do our homework. So uh, I don't know. It just seems like that kind of stuff where kids had responsibilities, chores to help out around the house. It just doesn't seem like it just seems like kids do nothing but stay on the gaming, or they're watching TV, or that's why I think sports and stuff like that is so important for kids, because it gets them outside, and it keeps them active, and it helps teach them to be on a team with other children, which I think is good for them. But after he's on the at the bus station, or not the bus station, but the train station, which was funny to me, was funny because he's talking to Tiger about a train, chugga 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 toot toot, that story. And now he's at a train station himself, and he's watching the people across the street, and it makes him think about what it could be for him if he stays. He has a possibility of a future with this woman, and maybe having kids of his own. So he ends up showing up at the games, and you could see the kids' faces light up when he shows up, and to support them, because they had they made it over halfway through the games. They ended up getting in a fist fight with some of the other kids, but I thought it was really good. It showed that the kids, even though he wasn't there, that they were fighting to try to win the games themselves anyways. But then when he showed up, and the leader of the what do you call those groups again?
Little squad.
Their little squad, he had hurt his leg, and he said, well, who's going to lead the squad? And he said, Tiger can do it. And Tiger goes, I'm too little. And he said, no, he knows all the moves. He knows this thing by heart, because he watched him, because he was observant and paid attention to that the little boy was doing all the stuff on the sidelines every time that they practiced. So getting to see little Tiger get to do something big to help their team win, I thought was very inspiring and heartwarming. And also to see Damon Wayans' nephew get to do the whole scene with the weapon, where he's doing
doing weapon drills.
Yeah, he's doing the rifle spinning and stuff like that. I just thought all of that was just as a mom, I couldn't help but watch this and not have my heart melt to see all these little boys performing in something like that. It just made me so proud for all of them, even though I know they were actors or whatever, but it was very heartwarming for me. And then the fact that they, in the scene where you see the inside of the repertory school, when you first walk in the doors, and there's a big staircase and stuff, there's a real pretty trophy case there that was empty. It was empty the couple times you got to see it. And this time there's a great big silver trophy in it, and a smaller trophy next to it with the name of the one lead cadet that I can't remember what it was for. It was something about him being the best cadet or something for the school. So that was really nice to see that the school finally won the trophy. So now, and then you see at the very, very end, you get to see Damon Wayans' character with a brand new platoon of kids.
Yep.
And there's this guy, there's like a lot of them. It looks like 3 times as many kids this time as there was the time before. And I think it's because more parents wanted to send their kids to that school because they did win a trophy.
Yeah.
So at least that's how I took it.
Wellington was no longer top dog.
Yeah. Wellington was no longer the top school to send your kid to, because now they had a decent trainer to help whip your kids into shape and get them ready to actually go to a military academy if they wanted to. So I thought that was really good. But when you see this kid standing there, and there's all these other ragtag kids standing around him, and you see this German Shepherd run around, but you knew he was a safety dog of some sort because it had one of those handles on it, on its
Mounted on its dorsal side on the back.
harness. So and you hear Damon Wayans going, "What? No, dogs aren't allowed here," or something like that. And he goes, "Well, it's my seeing eye dog, my blind seeing eye dog." And he's like, "Well, what good is a blind dog?" So I thought that was kind of funny. But then you see that he tells Tiger, "Go get my field knife," and the Tiger, "Go tell Ma to bring me my field knife." So that, I guess that meant that they did get married because he called her Ma, or they were engaged. So you see Tiger run off with a smile on his face to go get this big old knife for him. And then next scene, it's a cut scene, and you see the guy rubbing the top of his head because he's blind, but he's bald like the other kids were. And then you hear the whining dog, and the camera slowly pans down, and you see the German Shepherd now, and he's shaved. the dog is also shaved. So you're laughing at that as the credits go by, and you can hear Damon Wayans' character doing that funny laugh that he has, that kind of, I can't do it, but it's just really hilarious. But I loved this movie. I'm probably going to watch it again within this next week again, when I'm I'm not so stuffed up where I can actually enjoy it more, because it's such a good movie if you want to have a good laugh. And sometimes right now, in the way things have been going in our country, we all need to laugh more. And if you want to have a good laugh and you like military style comedy, this is a really good movie for you to watch. I recommend every guy that has a boy, any man that has a son or grandsons, needs to watch this.
I think this movie's a rite of passage.
Yeah,
Say that.
it's a very good movie, and it's women would like it too, especially moms that have military sons or military husbands or dads. I think I don't really know if you were a person that grew up and you never had anything to do with anyone in the military. I don't know if you'd really understand it. You might if you had a son or a daughter that was in like a professional sports, you know what I mean? Like college sports or something like that. And they're working your way up through high school to go to college to be in sports, because sports are very team building too. So you might like this movie if you're involved in that type of thing. But I definitely recommend this movie for a dad and a son.
I'm torn about this film because this illustrates some of the mindset that was there in the 90s, where they felt like they had to soften up the military a little bit because it had a hard edge. We'd just gotten done killing hundreds of Iraqis, and routing the Republican Guard on the highway of death. And so we had all these feel-good movies coming out, and you had a bunch of guys leaving the service at the time. You had a lot of weird stuff going on during the reign of George I, and they got rid of my ship. God damn it! I really liked the frigate I was on. Yeah, it was a Knox class piece of shit tin can, but I liked it. I was only on it for a year, but I love that. Hell, not even a full year. But we watched this as a family when I came out of the service, and I laughed at a lot of the parts, but a lot of the parts, it just felt like it was almost forced laughter for me. Like there's some really good scenes in it. Like some actual belly laughs will come out of you the first time you watch this. But I didn't have it in that same spot of reverence that you do, and it didn't hit me as hard watching it again yesterday.
Yeah.
Or this morning. It didn't hit me as hard. There's some parts of it that I was watching. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, look, you shaved the dog, you know, that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
I wasn't of the mind that like, oh my god, this is a classic movie.
Oh,
I'm
I
not.
did. I definitely did. I guess because of I getting to watch it. Maybe if I had went with my mother and we just watched it the one time, it might have
It might
been
have been
different.
different.
But my mom was just adamant. She said, "I really want to go watch that again." And I was like, "What?" This was a day the next day, and I was like, you know, why do you want to go watch it? Because I just thought it was so funny, and let's just go and we'll relax, and we'll get some popcorn or whatever. And I was like, okay. So we went and we sat and watched it again. So and we laughed, and I laughed more, I think, at my mom laughing at the movie than I actually laughed at the movie, because I'm just thankful. And now that my mom is gone and I don't have my mom anymore, I can look back at stuff like this and know that I'm glad I did it. I'm glad that
You
I
have good
took
memories.
a little extra time to spend with my mom to get to watch her laughing, because not everybody gets that, you know, gets that
No,
opportunity. So, and then we went, it wasn't the next day, but it was the day after that, the day before we were going to leave. My mom said, I want to go see it again. So I was like, okay, mom, let's go. So we went and saw it again. So we saw it 3 times in 5 days that we were at this little town. And it was fun because it was $1 movie. So it wasn't expensive. And but it was, I'm glad I got to go see it. And I definitely thought it was hilarious. Very, very.
my aunt thinks this movie is the apex of comedy for '90s movies, and she talked to me about it, and she's like, "You really need to see this movie. You really need to see it. This is an amazing film." And so we watched it, and I didn't laugh as much as I wanted to. Like I like Damon Wayans. I think that In Living Color kind of undid a lot of the racism that was still prevalent in America. And thanks to that show in the early '90s, we had a lot better race relations. I was becoming an adult at that time, and you didn't hear a lot of pejoratives aimed at the blacks. You know that at the time, you know, America's enemy was the Iraqis, so you had a large amount of disdain and derision in military towns to anybody of Middle Eastern descent. And so, like, majority of us had served with black military members for years now, and we had no problem. We didn't know the struggle that had gone on because that was before our time. Forgive us,
Well,
but
did you grow up in the military? Was your parents, one of your parents
no,
in the military?
nope,
No?
nope. I grew up in a small ass town. We had two black people in my school.
Well, the thing is, I feel because of where my dad being in the military, okay, and we traveled around the United States, and I don't feel, I never saw racism because I had black friends, I had Hispanic friends, I had Asian friends, because it was a complete mixture, a melting pot on the military bases.
That's
In
what I
my
love best
school,
about the Navy.
at my church, everything. My school, the church, the stores, my neighborhood. I mean, everything. There, it was. I just never saw it because it was. I'm very lucky. I tell myself that all the time, that I didn't see some of the horrendous stuff that other people had to go through, because it's just not that prevalent in the military, apparently. I mean, at least not for a kid growing up with other kids. I mean, half my friends were of different races. I mean, I just never, we never noticed it. It wasn't like everybody pointed at each other and said, "Oh, look, they look different." I mean, we just never. It was
You never
never.
had it.
It never. Nobody talked about it. It was like nobody noticed. You know, trick or treating, staying the night at our friend's house, and nobody talked about us looking different, you know, because we were just friends. We were just neighbors. My mom played, what's that game where you um, have little bowls on a table, and you play cards, and you win the money in each of the little spots or whatever. I don't know what that's called,
I don't know.
Pinochle or something. I don't know, but she played.
There's some card games and board games I'm not familiar with, and That sounds like one I should be familiar with, but I'm not.
Well,
When you
my
say
mom
Bulls, I
played
think like
that with lots of her lady friends, I guess, because it was like they had, I remember my mom going to Tupperware parties, different things like that. And uh, all the kids played out in the yard. We had barbecues and we'd have, everybody was, just, it was, fly kites, rode bicycles. I just don't remember. I just had it made. I just had a wonderful childhood. I got to have lots of friends. I moved all the time. That was hard. But I think that's why all of us girls can talk to just about anyone and we love talking because you gotta make all new friends every 2 years when you moved and start over again basically. So, I maybe that's one of the reasons why we're all, everybody makes fun of us because they said they can never get a word in edgewise when they're with all of us, when our families are together. And if we can all talk at the same time and talk over each other, and it drives a lot of people nuts. But
you could just say that's a feature when you're dealing with our family.
I guess.
Well, no, whenever we were getting introduced to new software on the Minesweeper, anytime we discovered a bug, the company rep would be like, "That's a design feature. Maybe our next release won't have that." And you can just say, whenever you have a situation where people are wanting to talk to you or your sisters, you're like, "Hold on, my ability to speak without breathing is a feature." Um, if nobody noticed, Mr. Wolfton Media had to depart about 12 minutes ago, and I apologize for not saying goodbye to him, but I want to let Janet keep speaking.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry. I wish you
now
would
that
have said
water,
something. I hate to do that. I have to,
when Janet doesn't have her camera on because of bandwidth issues, and you just have this, you have to listen for the swallows of water to get your words in because it's gonna those seconds evaporate quick.
Sorry.
Um,
Yeah, man,
listen,
I'm trying to um um I'm still very laggy for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know
it's a
what's going
storm.
on.
You've got bad weather in your area. That's all.
I know, but it
That's
just seems
all.
like it's in cables. Why would that affect it so much? But
No idea
I
why.
don't know. That's
Why
what I'm
would that
thinking.
affect it? I'm not certain, but I know that whenever my friends on Time Warner, when it rains over here, you might as well just put up your internet for the day. Play a game that doesn't require web access because you're not going to have it. Oh, you need that for YouTube? Yeah, that's going to be laggy and stuttery. It's disappointing.
Well, Bowsette said that no one cared if we were different when growing up. Yeah,
No,
that's exactly how I felt. I
you
feel
grew up
like
in
I
the
feel like
70s.
in the last, I'd say, mm, 10, 12 years, it's been worse than I've ever
Mhm.
seen in my whole life because it's like everybody's the media tells everybody that you're racist, even if you're not. And I'm like, I've got black friends I've been friends with for 25 years since I was a kid. How can I be racist? I mean, we kiss, we hug, we're friends, we tell each other things. I mean, it's like I don't understand it. I don't understand how we went from being best friends with each other and having to listen to other people tell us that we're not what we think we are because we don't know any better or what it. I mean, I don't understand. Maybe I'm just gullible or I don't know what the word is.
I
It's
I
just
I want to have the best expectations for people in media, but when the people in media are telling me something that's a patent falsehood, something I've lived, I've known a fact for years. Where like if you want to be friends with somebody who's not of your melanin count, all you have to do is generally be friendly, and you've got somebody who's willing to be a friend 9 times out of 10. And so it's just disappointing how the wizards of smart are now trying to decouple and segregate our society from what it was. And it was up in here, the 90s and 2000s were the best time because there was no racism during that time. You had guys like, I'm not going to say his movies were good, but you had the Jungle Fever movie come out. You had a bunch of other films come out from Spike Lee where he showed inner city youth getting along with itself, and there wasn't a whole lot of real quote unquote racism. There wasn't a whole lot of real.
When did the movie The Warriors come out?
1979. That's the most
Really?
diverse street gang. Yes, most diverse street gang ever.
Because I remember renting that and getting to watch it, okay? And I remember watching that and seeing all the different gangs, with different makeup or different kind of clothes, while this one gang supposedly is traveling through the city to somewhere. I don't really remember where, but and it had, all different races and cultures, behind each of the gangs and stuff. But I don't know. I just don't understand where all of a sudden everyone's racist. It just didn't. I have a hard time with it. I just really do, because when I growing up as a kid on a military base, and I just never saw it. That doesn't mean it wasn't happening. I'm just saying it
I'm
wasn't
sure it was.
prevalent like it is today on the news. It's like that's all anybody talks about. Everybody's pointing at each other saying everybody's racist, this, that, and racist. You're racist. Everybody's racist. I just don't understand it.
The one thing I did hear a lot in the Navy, and it wasn't something that was whispered too loudly, but when your black section chief comes up to you, or your black senior chief for quartermasters comes up to you, and he says, "Hey, listen, we're going to promote Yeoman Roman Becca, and I know she's really not a nice person, and I'm going to say this as a black man, but she she's in that demographic that runs the Navy, at least East Fleet, the Atlantic Fleet. If you're a black woman, you're going to run the Navy." And he told me this, and he's like, "You don't really make much mention of this if you're white. You don't make much mention of this at all if you've got a penis. You just kind of nod your head and you're like, whatever. I get paid every 2 weeks. I'm not going to worry about it." And he told me that. And he told the rest of us in deck division that. And he told everybody that he could. Listen, I know she's not popular. She's got a hard on for going up the chain, and she's getting her chief's outfit very, very quickly. We're not happy about it. This is a decision that's not made by us. This is made by somebody who's somewhere else, and they don't got to live with this.
But
So
see,
we're
this,
just gonna nod our head and put our nose to the grindstone, whatever. And you would
yeah.
have like that was in the 2 years I was in. That was the only instance of the active duty side. That was the only instance of racism I ever heard, and that was from a man who was pretty much between charcoal and Ethiopian.
Well, do you know that much about how much money this movie made, or how many theaters it went to, or what?
This movie cost them 29 million to make, and it barely eked out 30 million by the time it was done, going all over the world.
Really?
Yep.
So it didn't do very well.
No, it barely made its money back, not including adverts.
Well, that's sad, because I don't understand why. I mean, I thought it was a phenomenal, well made movie, and the fact that it had, and I didn't even notice it until today, right now, when I was thinking about it, talking about it, that the two leads in this movie were black. Okay, so this movie had two black leads, a beautiful black woman and a handsome black man, a wonderful story about romance, battles, the quandaries of life, what it's like to be abandoned by your parents, basically, in a at a preparatory school. how team building. I mean, it has so many different things in it, and I just can't believe that it didn't do very well. It just seemed like a
This
wonderful
movie
movie.
got it. This movie got its start really in '96 or '97, after everybody had already rented out 2 times from Blockbuster. Or if you'd gone, if you're Midwest like me, you'd gone to Family Video and they had like 14 copies of it.
Yeah,
And those copies were like rented out. You'd have 2/3 of them rented out at least every weekend. Because there was somebody that felt like, I want to watch this movie. I love Damon Wayans. And that was just kind of how it was. He spoke really well in this film to people that weren't familiar with him with In Living Color. The people that watch him that were from the In Living Color fan club, they're like, oh my god, this guy can do accents too. What can he not do?
well, I thought it was really, really good. I can't believe it didn't do very well. I mean, even
Oh
all the
my
way
god,
up to today, you'd think by today, after all this time, that it would have made even more money. At least I would have thought it would have.
I had the most critical review of this of all my peers I've talked to over the past week. Everybody else I know is like, oh my god, that movie's good. I popped on DM James's channel before we started rolling,
Yeah,
and DM James is like, oh, you're gonna be watching Major Payne. Oh, you watched that already? And then him and his brother Hungar, Shadow and Connell all take turns round robining, sucking this movie's penis, going, "Oh my god, this is a great movie! Oh, this is a great movie! This is a great movie!" I'm like,
I
I feel
think it
kind
is
of
a
bad.
great movie.
I
I
feel kind of
loved
bad.
it.
I'm like, I rated it a 6.5,
Oh,
and I mean, there was some funny parts in it. It holds up well, and I mean that for the fact that like there's the physical comedy in this movie, the cinematography, the editing, and the actual bits that are intended to be funny mostly hold up. There's some things that just don't, but the
like
part
what?
that got
What's
the
one of the things that you didn't like about it?
I'm not going to say what I didn't like about it. I'm because what I don't like about it is the fact that when I watched the movie both times, I didn't find myself like everybody else in the room laughing my ass off. I laughed more at my family laughing their ass off watching this movie than I laughed at the movie. And the movie's got some real clever bits in it. It's very good. But it wasn't for me laugh out loud funny. For me, laugh out loud funny is like Airplane or Airplane 2 or Naked Gun series. Abrams and Zucker. Those guys write comedy like crazy. And I thought this movie is good. That's why I rated it 6 out of 5, 6.5 actually.
Well,
But I don't think this is like this isn't like peak comedy. This is like the worst result that Damon Wayans had in his career, actually, for me, for comedy. His stand-up comedy is outstanding.
yeah,
That
I took my mother to see him after we saw this movie, and she loved My Wife and Kids, the TV show. Um, my mom had some rooms in Shreveport at the casino. And she said, "Do you want to go stay the weekend at the casino with me? I got a free rooms or whatever." And I told her, "Wow, yeah, that'd be fun." So we booked the rooms, and I went with my mom. We took one of my aunts, my aunt Maida, or not Maida. I can't remember her name right now. Shit, sorry. And we went to see Damon Wayans, and then she's gonna gamble. But what was funny was, I was like, "Mom, are you sure you want to go see Damon Wayans?" She's like, "Yeah, he's so funny." I go, "Mom, stand up comedy is way different than seeing him on TV." And she's like, "Oh, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be great." So I was ready, but I knew it was going to be funny as heck, you know. So we go in, we sit down, and we're sitting there. Mom's in between us, and her best friend's on the other side. Or it was her best friend. That's right. It wasn't my cousin or her cousin. And then it was me sitting there, and Damon Wayne's son comes out and opens for him, and he's really filthy. I mean, it's like every other word's the F word, stuff like that. And Mom was like, "Oh, he's dirty." That's what Mom was saying. "That's not funny. That's just dirty." And I said, "Well, you think he's bad? Wait till David comes out." Mom goes, "Oh, I can't picture him being like that." Whatever. My mom would she just did not want to admit what she was about to get. And almost the whole time he was doing his show, which was so good, she had her fingers in her ear and she was going la 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 la, making noises like that. So she couldn't hear him cussing because she was devastated when she realized what he was doing in stand up. And I said, "Well, you gonna go back and see him again?" And she said, "Hell no." Because he was so naughty, she said. So you get to kind of have a chance of getting to just think about it. This woman had 5 daughters. So you can just imagine that she just was not up to watching Damon Wayans. But oh man, he was so funny. That was a great
I like his comedy. I think his
God,
comedy
he was funny.
back in the
Now,
90s.
but guess what? I got to go see, before he died, I got to go see Rodney Dangerfield in Las Vegas at one of his shows, and he was dirtier than Damon Wayans. So, I've gotten to see some really good comedy, stand-up comedy, but yeah, Damon Wayans was really good, and having his son open for him, and to him telling one of the jokes he was telling was about how him and his son, after he got a divorce, and how him and his son went on a weekend trip or whatever, and they shared a room with 2 king size beds, and they both picked up chicks or whatever. It was how his son was in the bed next to him with his woman that he had picked up, and that he had some chick, and he was trying to keep up, he would look over and see his son doing this or that, and he was trying to do it, and he was saying my hip was hurting and my back was hurting. It was such a good show. But oh, he is just that whole family is so talented. I'm telling you, even his son, I think his kids, all their kids and everything are all going to have wonderful careers at doing whatever it is that they choose, because you can tell that this family is, families that, play together, stay together, or whatever you want to call it. It's very, very close. You can definitely tell that this family gets along. They have good work ethics. They care about each other. You could just tell. It just comes across in the way they carry themselves, the way they treat each other. I just think they're a great family, and I'm really sad. It really saddens me to think that this movie didn't do better at the box office, because I thought it was such a good family friendly movie, especially for dads to take their sons to see, to have the kind of, because I kind of had that type of relationship with my dad. I was a tomboy. I did more stuff with my dad than I ever did with my mother until you know, when I finally started to get to where I liked boys. I guess when I was in 11th grade is when I really started to think about maybe boys weren't all for just picking on or whatever. That's when I started spending a little bit more time with my mom. And I don't know, my relationship wasn't one-on-one with my dad anymore. And plus my youngest sister was now daddy's girl. I mean, she was really what do you call it, a prima donna type, but my dad would take her to do different things, so because she was the baby or whatever. But I don't know, I'm kind of saddened because I didn't realize that this movie didn't do better than that, because it just seemed like a blockbuster movie. I just thought it had everything in it that you needed for entertainment. When it comes down to the editing, music, the script, the direction, the actors. I mean, I just thought it had everything in it.
This movie has a lot of hopeful items in it that you you can take and you can just say this is the efforts of a bygone era. I mean, you couldn't have a comedy like this today in theaters because Amy Schumer would like get her screeching harpies and the pussy hats all like angry at you, and you'd be deplatformed immediately. There's no money for you. And Weinstein would be like, oh, we can't have this movie with a strong
Well, the thing
heterosexual.
is that I don't think Amy Schumer has even a third, if
She's got
that,
capital.
of the talent that Damon Wayans has when it comes to comedy at all. I don't think I just think that his family is just they're just so good at knowing what's funny. And it seems natural, It seems
Well,
like,
there's a market for them. I'll say that specifically. There's a
well, you
huge
can tell
market
by the
out
other
there
stuff
waiting for that comedy to come back.
the other programs that Damon Wayans was involved in within Living Color and My Wife and Kids, and there was a couple other shows. Let's see, what was this other one? Mo Money.
Well, money was great, but I
Yeah,
like I'm gonna get you sucker so much better.
but the other part, like the whole thing when he was in Men on Film. Remember that?
Mhm.
Okay. I can't remember the other actor's name that was in that, but just little stuff like that is comedic genius. I mean, it's just to make fun of a certain aspect of someone's life, but to make it fun, making fun of people, but make it funny to even the people in that realm of their life or whatever, in their choices of life, to laugh at you. That's a good thing, to be able to laugh at yourself. And I don't know. I just think that we've lost so much after the last few years when it comes to
There's movies I want to review, but I can't do it here. We can't review I'm gonna get you sucker. And I can't review the movie that Fred Williamson wrote, Boss Nigger. I can't do that
why not?
because it's that movie title, and you have these dumb woke tards at YouTube
Well,
that
don't
or
use
the clubs
don't use the
that
name that name.
you if you just say the word boss, the movie Boss. We're going to watch the movie Boss by Fred Williamson. People will be like, I don't understand what you're saying.
Well,
What's
well,
boss?
all you do is you take the name of the movie and you change it to the Chinese version of the name, or a different Russian name, and change it to that, and that'll be the title of it. But you can still talk about the movie. If it's a good movie, then you just find a way to get around whatever it is you got to get around and do the movie.
And the thing is that a lot of people think that movie is like super like racist, but watch the movie, and one, you realize the main lead wrote the film, and then the fact that he is still in his 70s, very alive and very proud of his accomplishments, especially during the blaxploitation era of when Hollywood could not crank out enough blaxploitation films. They were fiending for one more cute face. I need one more good-looking person of non-Irish descent to come and film a movie with us because we've got this great movie. Disco Godfather is not a good movie. I mean, it's a sign of the times, it's a movie of the times, but I would not stack it against what Fred Williamson had done otherwise. And you have a lot of films that I won't even be able to review because I'm white. If I put up a movie review for Shaft on my channel, I get canceled. Uh, I'll be on Odyssey and Rumble. Hey guys, come on over here, and $20 is $20. I mean that's what it would be. Yeah, Lady David Allen Greer is one of the great comedy minds.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was in the Jumanji movie.
Yes,
He played the sheriff in it, but I loved him on In Living Color. I loved all the people that were on Living Color. I thought all of them, and Mad TV. That was another show I watched. Most of the actors on that were hilarious, and the writing was funny. They made fun of everything. Both shows made fun of everything. And that's what made it so funny, is it made fun of everything. It wasn't one side or the other, or we can't do that, that's too much. Or, it was just, they just left
Comedy.
it to be. I mean, like the character Handicap Man. I mean, he could not do that now.
It's Handyman. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Handyman or whatever it was, but it was funny as
Or
heck.
it's a plane. It's a wheelchair.
It was so funny. I wore that as a costume one year for Halloween. I made the whole thing, and that's what I did. And everyone laughed. They thought it was funny. And I did it not because I was trying to make fun of people. I have relatives that are handicapped. But
Yeah.
we did it because it was funny, and I got to act stupid while I wore the costume, and it was fun, and it was Halloween. You know, so I don't know. People are just too sensitive. You can't blink without pissing somebody off. So it's
Well,
really sad.
I intend on being my usual self, but whenever I do decide to do the reviews, I'll be putting them up on Odyssey or Rumble, and people get hurt or their panties in a wad. Hey, fuck you, because I do love Fred Williams, and I think he's one of the greatest football players ever in the history of the sport. And secondly, the guy was great in so many good films. Uh, from Dusk Till Dawn is the one that everybody remembers him from. But Original Gangsters, I thought was better. His role in that was better, I thought. God, I'm reaching handy capable, says Six Nations 31 Kings. Janet, what's your rating for this movie? I'm betting it's at 8.9 or higher.
Yeah, I would definitely give this film just for the comedic value of it, and the overall story arc for Major Payne and for the kids that are in this movie is all good. It all takes you in a happy direction, with a good ending, even though there's peril, romance, fight scenes. I mean, there's just so many different aspects in the movie that are good, and entertaining. It laughs, I just don't know what else to say about it. It's just got so many good things in it from the beginning to the very end that uh it's worth it. I think it's a 9, definitely a 9, a solid 9 for me.
Okay. We're going to go with another Nick Castle directed movie next week.
The Last
The Last
Starfighter.
Starfighter. Yep.
Awesome. That's a good one too. But see, it's a totally different kind of movie,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still good. See, that's the thing, is I love so many different genres of movies.
Sure.
Because it's different. It's a story. See, the whole thing is, I look at it as a story. Everything is.
I was thinking before I threw this out there that we're going to go for the True Romance, which is a Quentin Tarantino movie that he wrote and then sold the script for to make his movie Reservoir Dogs. And then when you said we're going to do Major Payne, I start looking at the creation team behind this movie, and it's the same as this film here. Well, not the same. The computer graphics division for Last Starfighter is utterly out of this world. And these guys were doing their best to try to do something half as cool as Ray Harryhausen. We'll talk about this next week. This is a special place in Bruce's heart.
Yeah, I wanted to watch Major Payne because we spent the whole month of October watching scary, thrillers. You know what I mean? And I thought,
Mm-hmm.
why not start off November with something funny, something to laugh at, something heartwarming. And that's why I don't know what happened. Something happened. I saw something or whatever, and it made me think of Major Payne, and it brought back good memories about my mom and getting to do things with my mother. And it was something that she loved. She just loved this movie. She loved Damon Wayans. She just thought Damon Wayans was awesome. And
He is awesome. You know, this
yeah,
movie
he's
was
very
created
talented.
by this movie was created by a little the movie house was called My Wife and Kids, and My Wife and Kids is the name of the TV show he made in the 2010s, I believe.
Yeah.
So I just
Well,
thought
all I know is
you
that my mom really liked him. She she had her eyes closed though to what what real stand-up comedy is, because my mother, the only people she'd ever seen in, I think, in stand-up comedy were like
Bill
uh,
Cosby.
I'm trying to remember those five guys that traveled around and told country western jokes. I don't remember what they're called. The blue collar comedy tour.
Okay, blue collar comedy. You
Yeah,
mean
like like
Jeff
Jeff
Foxworthy
Foxworthy and stuff like that.
Bill
So
and
that's the
Joel
kind of
and
stand-up
Harry the Cable
comedy
Guy.
that my mom was thinking she was going to see. Oh, and I'd taken my mother to see Bill Cosby like 5 times. And then I went and took her to see another comedian, and she pretty much was like la 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 the whole time for that too. And it was Rodney Carrington. You know Rodney
I've seen him
Carrington?
live.
Yeah, and so I'm very lucky. My mom really liked to laugh. She thought comedy was her very favorite of anything. She loved the Carol Burnett show on TV, and so I was lucky that I was the one that got to most of the time take her to go see that kind of stuff. So, and I got to enjoy it with my mom. I got to go to Hawaii with my mother on a trip. I got to go to Mount Rushmore to take my mom to see Mount Rushmore. Got to play a Texas Hold'em tournament with my mom. I mean, I've gotten to do a lot of good things. So I'm thankful for that. I had a wonderful mom. And hopefully one day when I'm not around, my kids will say the same thing about me, that they had a good mom.
I don't think there's a single person in this chat that doesn't think that you'd be an awesome mother.
Well, I do. I love being a mom. I love my kids. So, and I can see why my mom enjoyed it so much. But she talked about it too. I mean, even I'm not saying my kids were the greatest and that I was the greatest. I got grounded plenty. I did bad things, like other people would do, sneaking cigarettes out of my mom's purse, things like that. But I deserve to get punished for it. And but I really feel like I had the best mother ever on the planet. That's how I feel. But yes, I recommend this movie. If you have a son and you haven't seen this movie, watch this movie and watch it with your son. I think that even if he's 7 years old, 8 years old, I think that he's old enough to watch this movie with you. That's how good the movie is. It's not perverted. It's not.
Pretty wholesome film.
Yeah, it's a very wholesome, but it's very entertaining for grown-ups and kids, I think, especially when you get to watch it with your kid with you. I think you guys would enjoy it. The Last Unicorn. That's a great movie. I love that movie too.
Well, we are filling up our docket with movies that keep getting recommended by, and
That's a good one. Yeah, we need to go back and watch the chats and all the different shows that we've done and start writing down some of these movies that they did and pick one movie every month that just came from the chat. I think we should do that.
Ladies like Bruce, you the boss. Whenever you want, I'd tune in. Appreciate that. And ladies like I says to Shadow, I agree. I regret not understanding that until very recently. Sick Nation 31 Kings says that's my birth month. It's a double treat for me. I'd be down. It's good because I've never seen The Last Unicorn. I've seen snippets of it on Ebert and Roper, or Siskel and Ebert
Maybe
before
we
that.
can pick 1 month where we do cartoons like The Secret of Nim, um, The Last Unicorn, and what was the other one I was trying to remember?
Fire and Ice. Oh, my bad.
I can't
I
remember.
love Fire and Ice.
But it was they're all really, really good cartoon movies that are entertaining.
As long as you don't say something like um, the Star Chaser, The Legend of Orin, which I tried watching recently, and I thought, man, if I saw this when I was 10, I would have loved it. I don't love it so much at 47. And I hate that when that happens, because like you bump into something like, man, this has been great when I was a kid. Not really right now.
Well, that's what's interesting is that you can watch a movie when you're a kid and you think it's the best movie ever, and then you watch it as a grown up and you're like, oh, that movie sucked. So,
Yeah.
you know, because you change as you grow, your needs and wants are different. You as an innocent child, you don't know what sex is. You don't understand what it feels like to have sex. You know what I mean? You don't understand what it's like to see somebody naked. So the whole process of adding certain things to your life, so that later on when you watch a movie, the whole everything changes because of now the experiences that you've had changes what you see when you're watching the movie. Oh, the Bridge to Terabithia is a good one too. It's not a cartoon, but it's another good movie that I would watch.
I
That's
like
a
that
good
one.
one to watch with your kids.
And it's got parapets and flags at the top. I love
Well,
that movie.
yeah, it's adorable. But there's just so many good movies that we can watch. We'll never run out of movies to watch.
Well, Janet, I'll just let you know that on Sunday nights, don't be surprised if I pop in your chat, in your voice chat, and there's a little bit of a broadcast going on down there.
Oh,
Don't be
that's fine.
surprised.
How come you don't do it on your channel? You don't have one?
I have a YouTube, or I have a Discord channel. I just put it on over there because I was thinking that I typed over there anybody up, because I saw more activity in your channel than on mine, and I'm like, anybody up? And Parrot Head's like, yeah, I'm in here. Cool. Let me show you something. And about 30 seconds into it, he's like, oh my God, you're showing Major Payne. Like, fuck yeah, I'm showing Major Payne. It's a badass movie.
Oh, so you watched it over there?
For the first time, yeah.
I wish I would have known. I would have went over there.
I texted you.
I know, but by the time I got the text, I was already doing something else. But if I'd
I
known
think
earlier that you were
you were
going to do
watching
it,
the back of your eyelids. I think that's what it was. I did it too late.
yeah, it was too late. But if you do it next week with the movie that you had just showed me, please let me know earlier in the day so I can plan and we can sit and watch it over there.
Sure.
I'd love to do it because I told you that one time when Nick Weiser was doing a viewing. I think it was Big Trouble in Little China too, and I was watching it and laughing and talking to someone else that was sitting next to me. It was like 3 people in there at the same time, and I was on my iPad. And Nick goes, "Janet, you need to turn off your mic." I was like, "Oh, sorry," because I had no idea what I was doing because I'd never watched anything on Discord before, so it was funny.
Yeah, the only problem I had was, and it wasn't a problem. Parrot Head, God, I love that man. He's a very funny memester. That's what I'm going to say. If you guys don't know Parrot Head, get to know Parrot Head. Parrot Head he does drops of funny memes, but he was working last night, so I got to hear the inside of his pocket jostling against the microphone of his phone. And I'd be like, Parrot Head, put it on mute. You're gonna put me in your pocket. Put it on mute.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, just let me know if you're gonna do that. I'll come and watch it with you.
Okay. Um, we're winding down the last part of the broadcast. Is I don't know if you know who Angry Cops is, Janet. Do you know who Angry Cops is?
I don't think so.
Okay. Flavy's like,
Angry
yeah,
Cops? Is it a name of a movie or a person?
it's a guy on here on YouTube.
And we're going to see if my channel gets just shut down by talking about this, or we're going to do a review.
A review of his channel?
Nope. A review of a video he does, because it's very important that our friends understand what's stacked against us. He is a chef's kiss.
I still have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
What is a chef's kiss?
It's when you kiss put
Chef?
your 5 fingers together with or 4 fingers and thumb together, and you kiss them.
Oh, you go, mwah.
Yes.
Mwah. Oh,
That's
okay.
chef's kiss. It
Okay.
is fan-fucking-tastic.
Is it a person named Angry Cops, or is it an actual cop?
He's a guy. I believe he's had a job as a police officer before, but he's also a drill instructor in the United States Army.
I keep getting the feeling that the Army's getting soft. My girlfriend.
This is where it begins.
Sense is tingling, but that can only mean one thing. The United States Army is trying to stop drill sergeants from screaming so much. What?
This is what we get. This is what we get, okay? This is what happens when we've adulted too much. We get guys like this that make it an absolute joy to watch. Okay. You've never seen him before?
No.
Okay. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about screaming. Benefits everybody, hurts nobody. Military.com put out an article where they talk to some high-ranking, highfalutin tootin' Joes and a drill sergeant, and guess what the consensus is?
I don't want to go further than this, because this is where we say we're just done winning wars. We're done being hard-ass men. We're done.
But yeah, but can't we watch this over there in Discord where nobody can get us in trouble, right?
We need no. Making a stand on this video and making a reaction to this video is what I want to do. I talked to you last week. We were doing a reaction.
It's your channel. You can do whatever you want with it.
Okay, and if I get killed on YouTube, oh, okay. Well, hello Rumble, hello Odyssey. Goodbye YouTube Premium. Yeah, I know. I'm an idiot. I like YouTube Premium because I don't have to worry about ads when I listen.
Is this guy's channel didn't get taken down when he played this?
He's had problems with Mama Susan before.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be able to watch the chat while this is going on, but I will pause this so we can give accurate reaction.
Okay.
Screaming, yelling, talking loudly. Loud noises! It's gonna be done. They don't want drill sergeants to scream no more. It's ineffective. It hurts everybody's feelings. And it's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
Are you sure? It's not necessary. When people yell at me, I've made an impression on them. I apparently am very valuable to them.
You got to get their attention.
Those involved in this article, how about we read it? We go through it a little bit. We break down some of the, I'm sure, gems of knowledge, the jewels that you are bestowing upon us. Me, a lowly drill sergeant, I'm like screaming. We should do no more. Less screaming, more weightlifting. The Army is reinventing basic training for Gen Z.
Now that pose that you just saw in that military article there, with that guy with his 2 hands up,
Yeah.
they used to call that shark attacks. They got rid of that. You can't get in kids' faces anymore.
Well, we won't be winning any wars then.
No.
Because when you go to war, you're going to get offended when someone stabs you with a bayonet.
I was highly irritated, and my fifis were hurt when my ass got launched into orbit from a frag grenade at my feet.
I'm a fly, sir. I eat shit, sir, while you're doing your sit-ups. I mean, you know.
What I
Sorry.
want to do is somebody that's training others, getting ready for combat, is change everything that I'm doing, specifically just for a bunch of dummies that don't want to do the things I want to tell them to do. Oh, I don't want to do that thing. I'm not on your level yet. Let me change myself, trainee. Let me change myself for you, the person who doesn't know fuck about shit.
Holy
I'm
crap.
so happy I could bring you to
awesome.
this.
That's awesome. You're going to have to send me this link so I can share it with others. That's so good.
I will definitely help you on this. This is such good
Does he
material.
do other videos besides this one?
He has over 1 million subscribers, Janet.
Oh, I can see why. Jeez. And
He has
YouTube doesn't like him because he's got 1 million subscribers and YouTube doesn't like him.
Nope, because
He's
he's
making
heterosexual
money. He's
and white.
making money for YouTube, and YouTube, when something comes along better than YouTube, where we can leave and go there, YouTube's going to be begging them to come back. That's stupid on their part. I wish I was rich and I could do it, so I could hire all these people to come to my channel or run their shows. You know what I mean, on my app or whatever you want to call it.
It's fine. It's fine. There's an open internet. If you want to design your own app and go for it and make it a 1 million person superstar app, please. All right, I'm gonna. This is funny. Army drill sergeants who model themselves on R. Lee Ermey's ruthless Marine Corps instructor in Full Metal Jacket are on their way out the door. Oh fuck, we're gonna lose a lot of kids.
Yep. But the thing is, why? See, this is what I don't know why the military doesn't just say this. If you don't want to go to this drill, go to this camp and learn how to be a soldier so you can defend yourself against the enemy and maybe take the enemy out that's wanted to kill all of us, then don't join the military. To me, that's common sense. Is it because we don't have any common sense anymore? I mean, what is it?
Ding,
I mean,
ding,
I'm a woman, and I would. It's just like saying the next thing you know, it's going to be, well, we can't train the police officers anymore because they're yelling or they're not nice enough when they're trying to train these people. And then the next thing you know, well, we can't have the firemen carrying over 100 pounds. It's not good for their back. Then the next thing you know, it's going to be the paramedics. We can't have them lifting those big gurneys or anything. So, who's going to save people? Who's going to put out fires? Who's going to fight with the bad guys to arrest them, take them to jail? I mean, we're going to have nothing. We're going to have a bunch of criminals running everything. It's going to be a real Escape from LA and Escape from New York is what every inch of the United States is going to look like once we wussify all of our branches of the police forces, firemen, military, everything. There's going to be nothing left but a bunch of pussies running around afraid of their shadows. And they take our guns away so we can't defend ourselves because we don't have anybody to help us defend ourselves anymore because they took our guns and now we have nothing but chaos. I mean, that's just stupid. None of this makes any sense. The people in charge are dumbasses if they're going to push this agenda.
Army drill sergeants who model themselves on R. Lee Ermey's ruthless Marine Corps drill instructor in Full Metal Jacket are on their way out the door.
Let me see your war face.
Is it because we want to get out because shit's not going the way it's supposed to be? Or because you're forcing us out because you want to make some drastic change for no fucking reason? Those non-commissioned officers have for generations been a new recruit's first real introduction to the Army. And they have famously been known to scream, curse, and physically punish trainees. But Army planners are hoping that instead of the stereotypical streaming drill sergeants in round brown hats, the new crop of NCOs will act more like strict football coaches.
We're gonna lose. First off, they gave us the fucking the littoral combat platform for the Navy, which like over 2/3 of that thing is fucking not able to go over 6 knots in the water because stress cracks, and it's shitty maintenance, shitty design. You can't maintain fucking ships like that because they've got fucking stress cracks in them running through the entire fucking beam. And then you've got a bunch of other fucking problems. But this here, this is going to destroy our military.
Definitely.
Okay, we're almost a quarter through it. It'll only take us 2 more hours.
Army planners, the planners, the people planning all this shit, not the people doing, not me, not the fucking guy doing the shit, but planners high up in their fucking ivory towers, raining down their little fucking jizz droplets of fucking brain farts for me to change it. But they don't know anything about my job. Have you ever seen a football coach? You understand me? When we say jump, and you think this is a game? They're not trying to make the walls sweat. They're not throwing trash cans, Command Sergeant Major Scott Peason says. All that stuff is slowly going away.
Oh my God.
I love this guy. I want to meet him. I want to get his autograph.
He's down here quite often, but you're kind of up north. Him and the Fat Electrician come down here because of the Unsubscribed podcast, and this guy's a big friend of Big Black Rifle Coffee, which I'm not so much a fan of anymore. But
So where is this guy located at?
I believe he's over near Buffalo, New York.
Oh, okay. Well, wow, that's shocking. He's comes from New York.
He was moved around a lot. I think he was at Drum for a while. And this guy's also on Vet TV. If there's anything going on with Vet TV, he's on site. He's a major star for Vet TV. And if you don't know what Vet TV is, just Bing it. Just Google
I know
that.
what Vet TV is. Because they have Bet, why don't we have Wet TV?
Janet,
huh?
You're a genius.
Well, I don't. It's not fair. They can have Bet TV. Why shouldn't I be able to have Wet TV? I think it's fair. Go ahead.
Made sure. Yeah, it's all going away. Let me just check the box on that fucking form that says, yeah, I did my best and everything's going smoothly. Oh yeah, I didn't throw a fucking trash can at all. I woke up to that every fucking morning for 10 weeks. Look at me. I came out just fine. You show me a basic training company that doesn't have drill sergeants yelling or throwing shit to make a point, and I will show you the most undisciplined bags of crap ever to get pushed out of BCT. If you had a tracker in every single one of those fucking trainees that got shit out of that fucking company and then pushed out into the fucking military, those little trackers would be like, beep, 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 kicked out of the army, shit bird, failed BT test 2 weeks in. Love to know the fucking percentage of dropouts that are in that group. I bet you it's higher than the rest. What's next? I can't have them stand in line in the chow hall and fucking scoop to hurry up that fucking process. Well, because we got to give them a half an hour to digest because the little tiny comes like you little shit, huh? To make it move.
This guy is just spitting truth, blowing fire all over.
Oh my God!
Janet, I didn't realize you thought I said Bet TV. No, this guy Richard High is his name. He is on Vet TV, Veteran
I thought you said BET, Bet.
No, Victor Echo.
Yeah, you know
Echo.
what I meant with wet, right?
Yeah, I heard you say wet TV, and that's where I was like, Janet.
I was hoping you didn't think it was porn.
Well, sure, whatever. Yeah, of course not. Of course not.
Oh, sorry.
Janet said you would be like, importing women from the Ukraine and just doing like foot videos with them, right? And make
Oh,
you don't do ASMR. You've got all these
your feet
cleaning
in
girls.
spaghetti, your feet in jello and pudding, that kind of
Uh,
stuff. I
I'm
just
so happy I ate more than 2 hours ago. Okay,
Oh,
we got a little bit more. And Shadow's like, Janet, we could do this. We could have it. We just think we probably have to go to another platform.
yes, for sure.
Substantial changes in the Army's physical training. While recruits may have to endure less screening at boot camp, the new training has effectively made the fitness and marksmanship requirements for recruits more demanding. More demanding, they say. What happened to the leg tuck? If it's so demanding, why'd you get rid of the leg tuck? Bunch of panties couldn't even touch their knees and their elbows? Sounds like more of changing the standard because they can't pass it instead of keeping the standard the same and just getting a new crop of Joes that can actually meet it. The loud and brutal drill sergeant was seen as a way to toughen up fresh recruits and prepare them for the harsh realities of war, from the jungles of Vietnam to the post-9/11 battlefields of Afghanistan and Iraq. But that thinking is changing, and many in the service believe a less harsh approach may actually be more effective with recruits. Many believe
This is as a vet that I got to see unexploded ordnance in 1995. I was sailing on the USS Defender in the Baltic Sea, and for 5 decades, Hitler had littered parts of Northern Europe's waters with mines.
Yeah.
I can tell you from experience that if somebody says German engineering, just respect what they're talking about. You don't have to go over there and cuddle it or get on your knees and beg for forgiveness or say, hey, we worship you or whatever, but just give it enough respect to where you recognize what its purpose is and what dangers it might have if used improperly. These things, when they blew, there was 2 of them about 4 days apart of sailing on our track. When they blew, we were about a half mile away, and I didn't have enough hearing protection. My M3 earbud that did nothing to protect my ears. That was probably the worst offense I'd ever heard to my eardrums. And it was a half mile away over water, which typically deadens a sound. So I could only imagine that, the guys that came before me 2 or 3 generations to sail over there and fix the problem in Germany, those guys dealt with a lot worse.
Yeah.
Are you still there, Janet, or did I bore you to death?
No,
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry,
We'll get
I'm
back.
just so stuffed up. I don't understand. It just happens every so often. It just seems like I don't know what it is. Maybe my medicine's wearing off.
Please quantify many for me. Huh? And for those of you that don't know what quantify means, that means give me a fucking number of exactly the many people that are saying this. What is it? What, 10? 10 field grade officers? I bet you didn't go to Fort Benning or Fort Leonard Wood and talk to a bunch of infantry or engineer drill sergeants. I bet you didn't go to any active component infantry units, engineer units, any combat arms from Fort Sill, artillerymen, etc. and ask those active duty fucking units. I bet you asked them, should the drill sergeant stop screaming? You'd be laughed out of their fucking headquarters. The naysayers who we were initially fighting against didn't believe this new way of doing things. Say it ain't so, Beeson said. Gentler isn't the right way to say it. It's just dignity and respect. People desire structure, and we're trying to give to them. We're just not being assholes when we're doing it.
How else are you
So-
going to get an 18-year-old kid to fucking listen to you?
So how do you get a person that comes there that's a pangender or pansexual or one of these other furries or any of these others? They're going to come to boot camp. How are they going to treat them? I wonder. I mean, especially the ones that think that they're kitties and they have to poop in a litter box. Because you know they're doing that. They're doing that at schools now, right?
We've normalized
You got kids going to school dressed as a furry with a tail hanging out of their pants and knowing that the other end of that tail is stuck in a butt plug up their butt. And these are elementary school and high school kids. This is what they're wearing at school. So when they start to go to boot camp, how are they going to treat them? Or are they going to be allowed to say they can't wear their butt plug and their tail with their uniforms? I mean, I don't understand. We're supposed to coddle these people? I mean, how does that help us as a country? How does it help us protect ourselves from other countries invading us, like China? I mean, God, this is disgusting thinking about it.
They haven't earned anything yet. They haven't done anything. They haven't even learned the Army values that have respect in it. Have you ever read the Army training manual regarding trainees and how we're supposed to treat them? AR-350-6? I bet you haven't. I bet you haven't. Because that fucking train-up manual ties our goddamn hands behind our backs enough already that now we can't even scream at them. Oh, God, heaven forbid we scream at them. I might just lose my fucking rank. You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like you should train them. It sounds like you're reaping all the benefits of me busting my fucking hump to send you quality soldiers. And you're like, well, if these quality guys don't want to be yelled at anymore, I think I should listen to them and I'll tell the drill sergeants to stop yelling at them. You're sitting in a good position because the blood, sweat, and tears I'm fucking dripping out here, training dummies to be like, yes, sir, roger that, Dr. Major Parade, salute, and now you're like, well, let's fuck that up. Let's fuck that up. This generation is very intuitive, General John Klein, commander of the IMT, said in an interview with military.com. I think they can see whether somebody is authentic or not. So if drill sergeants are putting on some sort of facade, they'll see right through it. Facade? Do you think that we get respect just because we fucking scream at people? Are you high? Are you freaking high? We get respect! And they listen to us because every day we wake up and show them the amount of knowledge and professionalism we have while executing our military tasks to perfection. In 2020,
I'm so fucking pissed for hearing this shit.
It is. How can you not get pissed when you're looking at this, thinking about all the people whose kids want to join the military that go there for this new training, and then they're going to go off on their very first mission right out of boot camp and then come back in a body bag. But the sad fact is, we have a president that stands in front of caskets with flags draped over him, and he looks at his watch. That's why these bodies are going to come back, because it isn't going to be their children. See, that's the difference. Oh, but we're helping people because they're not getting their feelings hurt. We don't give a shit about them when they go to another country and get blown up, as long as they're not getting their feelings hurt here on American soil.
Shadow like, hey, Janet, we'll probably give them a new chrome butt plug in boot camp.
Well, it's truth. You just go look at that up. It's terrible. And they're doing that in high schools. They're not letting them, they're letting these kids wear this to school.
Sad.
And the parents that buy this shit for them, and the kid doesn't have a chance when they got parents that do that kind of shit and lets them poop in a litter box because they want to be a cat. when they're 6 or 7 years old. It's just sad. Sorry.
The Army got rid of the so-called shark attack. So-called. Every fucking troop from Vietnam until now knows exactly what a shark attack is. So don't you dare play it off as some sort of flimsy afterthought hazing thing that some people might have seen or done. You better put some respect on that. Staff Sergeant Chris Osborne, a drill sergeant at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, was named U.S. Army's 2022 Drill Sergeant of the Year. Osborne said she was initially too aggressive with recruits and quickly found out they were turned off by the approach. The aggression, screaming, yelling, the excessive physical punishments, they're not receptive to that at all, Osborne told military.com. Not receptive to that at all? There is a Army value called integrity, drill sergeant, and I think you just shit all over that one.
Is this guy still in the military? Did he used to be a drill sergeant?
He's still, I believe he's reserves now, but he's still very happily enlisted.
Because I can't believe if all this stuff he's saying is true, but what they're trying to change, that they would even let him do it on YouTube. So I don't think he's working for the military anymore.
He'll get broomed out within the next 2 years if Biden cheats the next election like he cheated the one last Tuesday.
Well, he won't be alive. I mean, he's barely alive now. Every time you see him, he's got IV marks on his arms and his hands. They're just pumping him up, drugging him up. You can't do that on a daily basis and keep him upright for very long.
Weekend at Bernie's operation is in play.
Yeah. So, I don't even know if it's the same one anyways, but
yeah, it might be a different guy.
Oh
my God.
Whatever. We're in clown world anyways. I can't wait till Michael McDonald comes out. He's going to run for office. I'll vote for him. Do you know who that is, right?
I've heard the name quite a few
rapper.
times. Yeah. He's been getting a lot of ground.
Yeah.
We're talking a lot about him. Last week, they exploded on the scene with maybe you could get DeSantis and Trump to go against each other. So the entire media is salivating over that right now, which I think it'd be hilarious if DeSantis and Trump did fight it out, see who would be the power top, but then they run together. That would cause a lot of fits.
Yeah.
Okay. We got like 4 more minutes here. 3.5. Here we go.
I myself have been brutal when called for to some of these trainees, but it wasn't my choice. They chose that. They didn't want to be smart. They wanted to be strong. They didn't want to be on time. They wanted to be late. They chose their path to success and or failure. And there I was to maintain the standard as you were. And if you're relying too much on yelling, then I don't know how the fuck you became Drill Sergeant of the Year. If you were not using every moment of physical corrective action to then educate those trainees, then you are slipping, Drill Sergeant, because every time that there's corrective action, there is education with it. In that correction, we create discipline and we create education. Discipline, education, two sides of the same coin, Drill. That was a lot harsher.
If only we could do that with public education.
I mean, we have kids graduate from high school right now that can't read or write. And you can't do anything because the teachers' unions, you can't fire anyone. You have to pay them anyways, even when they're not working, because they're being investigated about whether they're doing a job or not. I mean, it's just gotten, I think we should just get rid of the thing of education or whatever you want to call it, the federal government level. And just have the states run it again like it used to be a long time ago, and let more parents have the money and do it at home if they don't like what's going on at the school. A school voucher system, something like that, where you can take your money and spend it wherever you want, where you want your kid to be educated at. this is ridiculous what we're going through, paying the federal government to turn our kids into a bunch of furries.
It feels like the grandchildren of Operation Paperclip never got the people involved with Operation Paperclip, the ones brought over from Germany in 45, 46, 47, those people never left the Beltway. They never left power. They were brought into the fold and they never left. And this is it. 3 generations later, they've got this blueprint from Antonio Gramsci or Karl Marx, and they're just running with it. All right, here we go.
After my first couple of cycles, because that's all I knew, and I finally realized that wasn't working. These trees are not listening to me. They're not getting better, Osborne said. If they're not doing what I want them to do, that's when I had to tone it down. Tone it down and not yelling all together at trainees are 2 separate things. And guess what, Will? I'm sure you had a kill hat like me that is over there sweating in the corner, ready to destroy some souls when those trainees don't listen to you. Oh, you're the quiet drill sergeant. You're the teacher now. You're following and swinging all along with peaceful generosity until you need me. And then there I am to be the bad guy. So don't act like you're all alone in this and that nobody was screaming at troops when you had the bad guy just waiting to get leashed like a pit bull out of fucking collar, just waiting to fucking pounce. Now I'm sure you're sitting there and saying, but hey, Drill, is this a big deal? Yes, it is my duty to stand at the gates of basic training and defend them from useless training, bullshit doctrine, useless feelings, articles, and changes, corrupting and weakening the necessary difficulties of our training. And let me finish with this. My guys, I and those that I trained didn't fail in Afghanistan. Those with stars on their collars and between their chevrons and rockers did. They failed. They let it happen. Not the troops that I trained that stacked tens of thousands of enemy personnel, bodies as high as the fucking sky. Not the ones saving, training Afghanis left and right, as well as their fellow soldiers and those that laid down beside them from other countries. Those troops that we trained didn't fail, so don't ask us to change.
Yep.
That's what it's about.
It's
That's
tough.
what it's about.
So how long ago did he post this video?
Last week.
Stuff like this makes me realize that we're not going to make it 2 more years. What are we going to have left? We don't need the enemy. We don't need any other country to come and ruin us or kill us or anything. We're killing ourselves from the inside out. Killing our country.
Still here to the end, huh? You might want to think about subscribing or hitting the like button. Let everybody know that you liked the video. And if you want to support the channel, check out angry-cops.com where you get a shirt or some cool stickers for the channel. Or go to my Patreon. Get a daily upload to let you know what's going on here. What I'm thinking in my big old beautiful brain. All right. See you next time, guys.
I love that man. He's funny as hell. He's very instructive.
He's very, very, very talented. Definitely a real. Seems like a real drill instructor.
Well, he's one of the best, and he'll probably get broomed out. I don't want to think about it, but he probably will. And y'all can see that writing on the wall, especially when you have this current bullshit going on, this current fuckery. Janet, this was a video I wanted to talk to you about last week when I first saw it. I was struck by it, and the fact that you, God bless you for insulation, because I wanted to be the first one to impress upon you this, and I think I achieved my goal.
he's very, very funny, and I'm definitely gonna have to go check out his channel because it's if he's got that many people following him, then we're not alone on our beliefs that, what's really sad is I don't believe that half of our country wants this shit. I believe it's maybe 20% of our
I
country.
believe it's less than that. I believe it's closer to 8.
Well, it's low, but the thing is, they have enough people that are willing to take the cash to help them push their agenda forward. So even if they don't believe in what they're doing, they're taking the money to do it. That's why I believe it's higher than this 8%. It's the 8% that want to do this and that want to see us destroyed. And then it's the rest that are willing to take the cash and put it in their bank account, knowing that they're destroying the country because they don't give a shit. See, that's the sad fact. And the rest of us that are trying to stop these people or do something to stop them, and then the other ones that are asleep on the other side thinking, oh, it'll never happen. Because I hear that all the time. Oh, that'll never happen in Texas. Oh, that'll never happen in Florida. This will never happen in this place. Or this will never happen. You never say never because it's always possible to happen. Period. So I don't know. It's sad. It breaks my heart. So,
Well, no matter what, keep yourself as humanely occupied as you can. And if you need to talk or if you're going nuts over there, give me a buzz or reach me. I know that you've got some really good people over there on your own server for Discord.
yeah.
Really love
Well, I try to, people suggest stuff. I ask them to tell me if you want, and someone said, hey, let's have a music area. Let's have one to put memes and funny stuff. And then I wanted one that just had selfies so people could just post a picture of them working out or doing something, that's important to them. And I do try to go to each different thing anytime somebody posts something new and respond to it the best I can. And if people send me personal messages, there's plenty of them on there that I talk to about things, and I try to help them or give them my suggestion or what I would do, or just to say hi. I hope they're having a good day, things like that, because I really do want people to have a better day. I just wish I could do more for people than I get to do.
2 Discords in the chat there. The first one is mine, the second one is yours.
Thank you.
And people haven't already subscribed to you. Really like to see that because you have a unique message. I mean, it's not completely unique, but your positivity is, you can never really have too much good positivity. And there's a difference between good positivity and bad positivity. Yours is a lot more honest than what I've seen in a lot of other places. So I don't mind giving people the keys to your kingdom to get in touch with you and say hello to you, and that way they can catch the latest ramblings from Janet or the latest joke or what have you.
Memes.
Memes are great.
Yeah, and songs. I try to play, like I'll say, I'm like today I posted, I said I'm in a romantic mood, and I posted a couple songs. So just different things like that, because I'm just me. I'm just being myself. And I do things that I think are fun, and I want other people to be able to, without being disrespectful to anyone else. If you want to share something that you think is fun, or art or craft that you do, or if you have TikTok or another app that you want to share something you've posted on that, share it. I mean, I always want people to be able to share themselves with others, and maybe others will share themselves with them, not in a dirty way, but in a way of just letting people know where you are in your life, that type of thing. And I think it's important. I just, human contact is the most important thing humans need, is to know that you're heard, that somebody knows that you're alive, that type of thing. So I think that if people could just let themselves be themselves and find out how many people will accept them just for being them. You know what I mean? I don't think enough people get that in real life, to just be accepted to be yourself. I wish that more people would try to just step back and say, when I take my shoes off, put my feet up, and I'm watching this movie, I'm just me, and I would like to have somebody sit next to me in this chair and have a beer or a drink with me and just be themselves and laugh at this movie, that kind of thing. Wish we just had more of that. I think everybody wishes that sometimes. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. And if you can find a way to spread some positivity among your peers and family, people that are there with you in your trenches, helping you fight your battles, if you've got a way to spread that positivity back to them, make time to do so. We don't have a guarantee of tomorrow. So if you can do it today, go ahead and do it today. I know it's like, 10:41 where I'm at, 22:41 where I'm at. But I get a kick out of these streams on Monday night and get a lot of messages throughout the week, people thanking us for this, and starting to see some kickback on the comments, which it seems like it's getting more and more broadcast. Janet's probably been the best thing to happen to my channel.
What? That's so sweet for you to say something like that.
15 years I've had this YouTube channel, starting a movie review on a weekly basis with you. It's great. But I appreciate you being here, Janet. And
You're welcome. It's fun.
You've got a good focus. You've got things that you're taking care of, and your people are getting there, and they're showing up. So I do appreciate it.
Wait, you're welcome. I mean, I'm just me, but I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting to do this and talk about something I really love, and my feelings about it, and just be honest about, whether I liked it or not and what I liked about it. I enjoy it. And I even dressed the part for this major Payne and wore my fake dog tags and everything. And you can't see me because my service is so shitty. So, well, I'm sorry.
Your work didn't go unnoticed. I got to see you in your fatigues earlier, and I was pleased. Like, she's ready. So,
yep.
Everybody, we're going to wrap this up. We'll see you again, 19:30 next Monday night, 21st of November, for our broadcast of discussion and review of the 1984 classic, The Last Starfighter.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Thank you.